The only other thing I'm gonna say, Game Freak, there's no fucking reason.
Yeah,
There's
right?
there's no excuse. There's no fucking excuse.
Like,
There's not a single bit of excuse you can give me.
we thought it looked lackluster before all of these.
All right. Well, to get started today, as y'all can see, we are down one fluff boy.
Mm-hmm.
He is currently living it up in the Dominican Republic because it's spring break.
Yeah.
I don't even really think about it anymore
Mm-hmm.
at this stage of my life.
I mean, it snowed just today.
Yeah.
So, like,
It did.
it doesn't feel like spring yet.
It does not, but it is. And so he's living it up down there with some friends of ours. So it's just going to be me and you and obviously Izzy over there.
Just like last year around this
quite
time.
literally an exact year ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be fun. And just like last year, we had a Nintendo Direct to go through.
A big one.
A big one. And this year we have what I would consider an even bigger one.
Yeah, I thought we were talking about this year.
Oh, no, I was talking about last year.
Oh, I don't remember last year's, but this year.
Yeah, this year's. It was fun as I'm sitting here trying to remember what last year's was too.
Like,
I think it was just a games review. It was a lot of games and announcements.
okay, yeah.
Review, Direct. This one was about the Nintendo Switch 2. So we recorded last week. And the day after we recorded was the Switch 2. So
We talked about like potentially delaying the episode recording to talk about it.
ultimately didn't.
Ultimately didn't. We talked about live streaming our reactions to
Ultimately
it.
didn't.
Ultimately didn't. But at the end of the day, I do think there is a good, there's a strategy there where it's like, you wait a week after an announcement like this, you get way more information. Stuff isn't as confusing as it is when it's first announced, and the company gets to explain reasons for why they do things, or you get more interviews.
You jump past a lot of the speculation and rumor mill that's going to crop up and people throwing in their 2 cents just to get an opinion out there. It lets the dust settle, essentially. But me and you were in the live chat. Like, me and you were on a phone call together that morning. He remembered to, it wasn't until like much later I saw your message on Discord. It was like, hey, are we still doing this? Yeah. He woke me up with a phone call and I was like, oh shit, that's right.
Yeah, I woke up at I think it was at 9 o'clock was when it started, I think. I woke up at like 8:10, 8:15. I was getting ready and I didn't see anything going on Ruben's end, but I was like, it's cool. He's probably also getting ready. And it's like 8:50 and I'm like, hey.
I was knocked out. You woke me up with like 5 minutes to spare and I was like, oh yeah, we are doing that. I'm not going to fuck around with trying to set up a recording. I have nothing set up to record right now.
I'm like, fair.
Fuck it. We're just going to do this as a phone call.
Yeah.
But it was kind of nice though. Good. We still got to see everything live. We're not going to do the full direct this time around, kind of like we did last year where we had the whole direct up and we kind of just skipped through some shit. We're going to do it like we did last episode where we're going to kind of talk about the highlights of the things we kind of cared about. If you want to see the full direct is available. Just Nintendo Switch 2 overview, April 2nd, 2025 direct. Super easy that way, but it would be a lot more concise and easier on my plate for editing to just talk about the things we actually care about. And speaking of, let's start with the Switch 2 trailer.
First of all, the first second, remember when they first announced the Switch, like the announcement trailer for the Switch 2, the animation I think either was the same or they didn't do an animation. It wasn't like the Joy-Con animation.
Oh, the little
remember?
Thing. Yeah, it was still the old style.
That everybody was pissed, and everybody was like, "Why don't you do something different if it does a different thing?" And then they fixed it.
It's because we wanted the official announcement, motherfuckers. So the little Joy-Con snap. So in the old one, the Nintendo Switch thing would just have a Joy-Con come down like it does on the actual Nintendo Switch 1 console. And the direct where they announced the Nintendo Switch 2, they still use that old Nintendo Switch animation.
When they clearly show that the new Switch doesn't do that. It does this.
And now they finally updated the Nintendo Switch animation to involve that.
They left out the goo.
The Nintendo Switch 2 system can adapt to suit your situation, however you like to play. In TV mode, use the dock to play on a bigger screen. In tabletop mode,
what it was
place
before.
your system however you like using the stand, and share a controller with a
I
friend.
like the updated stand.
In handheld mode,
That updated stand
play
is really
anywhere
nice.
you go.
Adjustable, different heights.
With these 3 play modes, you can enjoy playing whenever and wherever you want. All together, anytime, anywhere. Let's take a look at some features of Nintendo Switch 2 and how it's improved from the Nintendo Switch system.
So I never had an OLED, right? You had an
At
OLED.
7.9
I have one,
inches, Switch 2 has a bigger
Is this
built-in
as
screen.
big
Here's how that
size-wise as an
compares to
OLED?
Nintendo
Like the
Switch.
same
The
size?
system's
I think
thickness
this is a
remains the
little
same.
bigger than an OLED.
Okay.
7.9.
Yeah.
With
I want to say
approximately
OLED
double
is
the pixels compared to
7
Switch,
point,
you can enjoy games
2 or
in greater
3,
detail
I think.
on the 1080p
Okay.
screen.
so it's a little bit bigger.
It's
Yeah,
also
this-
under 8 inches.
It is.
Yeah.
Just shy.
The
Yeah.
screen
That
supports
120
up to
frames.
120 frames per second. allowing
Nice.
for smoother
That is
gameplay
nice.
and support
It is
titles.
nice. I'm curious what they mean by only available in compatible games.
That
Because it makes me feel like
always-
there's going to be very few games that take advantage of that 120 frames per second.
If the game is optimized enough.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think they showed a lot of third-party games where
Yeah.
where we could probably pause it for a second and talk a
gonna
little
say.
bit. But like they showed a lot of like again within the week of this announcement, they had like a whole showroom floor and everything. They showed off some third-party games that were announced to like be ported to this, such as like a Cyberpunk and Hogwarts Legacy, a few other different games. And
Wait, Cyberpunk is gonna be on the Switch?
Yeah.
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you didn't see that
No.
announcement? Yeah, boy.
Cyberpunk 2077 is coming to the Switch.
I
Wow.
watched some people who have played it on the showroom floor, some content creators, and it seems like it's not 120 frames,
Fuck no. Absolutely not.
but it's like
And it sure shit ain't going to be RTX.
it's apparently the person was saying how the rep for Project Red said that it's 40 frames on no. It's 30 frames on 180 or 1080 resolution,
Okay.
which
Handheld or docked?
handheld.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
It would make the most sense. It is 1080 30 on handheld
Yeah,
and probably 4K 60, maybe 50 in docked.
I was gonna say I think that's what it is. I have to double check, but essentially, like it's some of these third party games are not going to be hitting that 120.
Absolutely not.
At all.
Absolutely fucking not.
And even Metroid Prime is like, handheld. It's 1080, 60.
Yeah.
Um,
Anything making use of the HDR system that they're showing off right now, I do not expect to hit 120.
Yeah.
Not even close. I feel like that 120 is going to be for shit like Pico Pico Park, the scissor cut game, whatever the fuck that was called. What's that game called? Cutter
Snipper clips.
Snipper clips. The more simpler style games that are not very resource intensive to begin with.
Oh yeah.
mhm.
Like I
The-
think
The Android store games.
right. I
will
think that
have you-
120 frames per second, personally, I think that is like under perfect conditions with the perfect correct game is
Yo,
going to
do
be
you
hitting
think?
120. Say it again?
I don't know. I feel like maybe not, but I feel like a well optimized game probably. I don't feel like it would have to be like a 2-dimensional game, like you're talking about
Yeah.
Mhm.
to hit 120 if they're saying, but maybe.
Right.
I will
don't know.
say I do feel like they did 120, 4K, all that with like some of their Mario games. I'm sure they're going to try to push as much of that out there, like Mario, Donkey Kong related games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Nintendo franchise specific, like they're big hitters.
I don't think so.
Like-
I think you'll be able to with graphic settings low.
Oh yeah.
I don't think like I'm saying I don't think you're going to be getting the beautiful looking stuff at 120. Like I said, they're showing off the HDR. Like we're in the middle of them showing off HDR stuff right now.
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting that with 120 frames per second on the Switch.
Hmm.
I find that I am willing to eat
Not
my
even
words.
docked?
Not even docked. I don't think so. I think you're gonna have to sacrifice graphical quality for that 120 frames.
So
Oh well, yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like it's either gonna be like 30 or 60 max if you want that like 4K res. Yeah, that's
Right.
true.
yeah. So probably not 120 frames for Pokemon Up Down.
Pokemon Up Down.
Wait, what game
All
is
right.
that?
Gen 10 confirmed. Izzy is my uncle who works for Nintendo.
I can't wait to get Pokemon Down, bro.
I can't wait to get Pokemon Up, bro. I can't wait to get Pokemon Up, dog.
What's Pokemon Up, dog?
Not much. Was Pokemon Up, dog, with you?
I got
it. Yeah, no. Pokemon is a thing to talk about too a little bit. Not as much. They kind of showed off Pokemon Legends ZA with the kind of upscale, and it does look a little bit better, but it's still plagued with Pokemonisms. And I've complained enough about that. So
Yeah, I too saw that and I was like, okay, I guess, yeah, it does look a lot better. Maybe the frames are kind of fixed a little bit.
frames are fixed a little bit, background detail is fixed up a little bit, but the textures are still kind of not super great up close.
Little jank still.
And the animations and kind of how everything's built is still like, those are issues you can't solve with more power.
Yeah.
That just is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
They mentioned a second ago, I think this was the first time they officially said that they are magnetic Joy-Cons, that they're being connected with magnets. They'll talk about it. They did talk about it a bit more in the direct. I don't remember if it was this video, this overview, or a later one, but they showed that at least my understanding is when you connect the Joy-Cons, they create a strong magnetic attachment using a circuit. So they're electromagnets that you press a button to essentially disconnect. I don't know if they said that officially. That was my best guess while we were watching it live.
Because that's going to drain the battery.
Well, there's a part where they talk about the built-in game, and that's where it shows. They show you in, I don't know if it's, I think it's later in this video actually.
Okay.
They show you that the L and R SLSR buttons are the magnet, and that is the thing that like attaches to like the magnetic plates that are in the side of the screen switch.
I thought it was the other way around. I thought the magnetic plates were in the Joy-Cons or never mind. Don't worry about me.
I mean, we'll see it in a second. But like the lever to pull to detach them just like pushes them off of it, just like a plastic like thing.
Oh, it does just push them off.
Yeah.
Oh, then it's not electromagnets.
It doesn't like turn off the magnet or anything like that, which we thought
that's what
could potentially be, which would be kind of cool, but that's...
I'm a little curious then. If it's such a strong connection, how does a little lever and how easy is that button going to be pushed?
Well, because like magnets are, I don't know what you call it. The
strength diminishes.
The attack is pretty small. Like
true,
it gets way stronger the close like within like a millimeter than it is like 2 millimeters away.
Fair. So I guess, but I mean. So that's what I'm saying though, right? Like for those to be attached super securely, the magnets are already attached, right?
Yeah.
The button you have to press, like you still need the same amount of force to decouple them, right?
But it's a lever instead of a...
That's what I'm curious how strong that lever is going to be or what they're doing to make that lever.
Yeah.
It's something that will get answered the second I get my hands on a Switch 2.
Right.
Like, it's not that important. But it was interesting. They have said that they officially said that this is in fact a magnetic. It was obvious looking at it, but it is 100% a magnetic Joy-Con system. Which I'm still curious about what that's going to look like after the first one's launch and how quickly it's going to be before I'm curious what issues might arise.
I'm already wondering like I don't know how I feel about just having that like exposed, like, you know, what is it? I don't even know, like the thing that's in the middle of the Joy-Cons that you having the sides of the screen exposed, you know what I mean? With the little chip that is out there.
Yeah, that little thing, yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know how I feel about that. I hope they release some kind of cap that you can put on them so that that's not exposed when you have the Joy-Cons off.
What's weird, they're not showing it unless it might be recessed in compared to...
I think it's recessed.
Yeah, they did kind of stop showing that.
Strong magnets keep the controllers firmly attached to the system. Detach a controller easily by pressing the release button on the back.
Okay.
The SL and SR buttons are bigger for greater comfort and control when playing with a Joy-Con 2 held horizontally.
Which is nice.
Yep.
I like the bigger controllers. And the popped out SNLR bar. This was something everybody suspected, and the first announcement trailer did the whole animation with it. Everybody was like, no, that's just for flair. That's just for flair, probably. Until we saw the patent for that, you know, what do you call it? The reticle thing that's on the side. We were like, wait.
Oh, the optical sensor?
The optical sensor. We're like, that's what's on a mouse. So maybe they are doing that, and they did do that.
And they are, in fact, it does. I will eat my words from when we first talked about that first announcement. I was like, I thought everybody was just being kind of dramatic and kind of going off on a thing that didn't really mean much shit. I was 100% wrong. These are, in fact, they are mouse controls for both Joy-Cons. So that is a whole thing going on here.
Used as a mouse, opening up even more ways.
And apparently
to play
it's
compatible
very
games.
intuitive from people who have tested it. Again, content creators posting stuff. They're like, yeah, it's just, and they showed this the day after. You could just easily pull it up, and it in Metroid Prime specifically, you can go into and then just pull it up, and then you go straight back into regular controller controls.
It's funny
seamlessly.
Like that design is not super far off from an ergonomic vertical mouse design. Like it's probably not the craziest thing in the world. I think we talked about it during our phone call of it is going to be interesting of how well it picks up on different surfaces.
I heard, or where did I hear this? I think I saw it somewhere, but someone said that it works on your leg too. Okay. It's not just a table, but they show tables on all of the times that they showcase it because it's probably works the best, right? But apparently legs, you know, softer surfaces do work.
Because I was gonna say, like, look at our setup now, right? If I'm playing on the Nintendo Switch, I'm not trying to sit forward and do the bullshit, right?
I may as well just play something on my computer at that point.
And so, was this game in this announcement or a different announcement?
That's this one. This game is in this announcement. Yeah.
That's right. This is the overview video. This wasn't the trailer that we watched initially. Fucking shout out Nintendo for the disabled community. Shout out, because their main like kind of showcase for the mouse controls and this new type of like Joy-Con thing was this little what is it called? It's not called wheelchair basketball. I think there's a specific name for it, right?
Oh yeah, no, there's a specific name. I think I do have it here. Drag and Drive.
Drag and Drive.
Drag X Drive.
Drag X Drive.
Like Hunter X Hunter.
Yeah. But it was like, I was like, that's actually really interesting. That's kind of sick.
Wait, do you do like backflips and stuff? Like,
yeah, I think so.
Like, I have no idea. I think it's just a sports game, but
pretty much that's what everybody's comparing it to. We'll get to that soon. We have that in this docket. So
yeah.
We'll talk about it.
Controls. So you can also play certain games using 2 mice, like this. By adjusting the audio balance between the ranges,
I'm like, that's cool.
Sounds from the built-in speakers are clearer.
We're getting
and more
an EQ.
in handheld
That's
and
nice.
tabletop modes.
This whole
It has a built-in
deal
microphone, so you can voice
was
chat with
interesting.
friends
There's a whole
anytime
nother
via
video
game
that
chat.
goes over game
It
chat,
also uses noise
which
to
we'll
that
get
later.
to in a minute,
filter
but
sound, so your voice will come through clearly.
3D audio is nice.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have a surround sound system,
Which I guess I didn't realize wasn't already a thing
as if
with
it were coming from
the
all
Switch
around you.
One, but I don't know why I'd assume that it was.
Yeah,
So
I'm
is
not
But
certain.
I don't typically play my video games on a Switch specifically, or even like a console
Right.
with headphones.
Exactly.
I typically
I
don't.
think that's the
Place
So
your
it's just
Nintendo Switch
stereo
2
before,
however you
probably?
like, with a
Pretty
large,
much.
sturdy stand.
Yeah, I do not like
You can
that
move it
chip
freely,
just being
like
out
this.
and about.
yeah. I feel you on that. I'm not certain how I feel
What?
about that either.
How does the old one do it?
It's a rail, so like
Yeah,
you
but there's got to be contacts exposed somewhere.
They're
maybe
Not
but-
as much as you think.
but it's kind of it. Yeah, I guess it's the perceived design, right? Because on a regular Switch, like sure, maybe there are exposed stuff, but it's not.
Yeah.
You know, you don't really see it that well.
He's talking very specifically about that
Yeah.
card-like protrusion on there.
It's like right here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the card is basically like facing this way. and,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like you can't
Has, like,
really
point-
tell, right? So
Yeah.
it has never been like a worry, but like with this, it's like right there.
It is really weird to see it just like sticking out like that.
If
That
I saw
does-
any of my electronic devices like that, I'd be like, "Where's the cap? Where's the cover for that?" So I hope they give us one.
I'm gonna
like-
imagine they probably will. They'll give you some kind of like dummy thing you can just kind of put in there.
Mm.
Must have like short protection or something.
Probably.
Because that's the only thing I could think of is like if you get water on it and
Yeah.
connect two of the contacts because they're real close together too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
There's and it's is the magnet in the Switch because then you've got like paper clips and stuff getting stuck to it.
from what he was saying, the magnet is in the Joy-Con,
Oh, okay.
and there's a steel plate in the Switch that it connects to.
Either or, it's vice versa. Like it's a magnet connection.
Okay.
I'm not 1000% sure. We'll find out in a second. Like I said, they'll
Yeah.
do another part of the announcement.
I was gonna say, in a
but-
different part of the announcement,
Like
they
this.
straight up say where it goes. 2 USB
In
ports we
addition
already
to the
knew about.
USB-C
Yep.
port found on the bottom of the system,
They're going the
there's one
opposite
on top
direction
as
of
well.
Apple.
Yeah, we're adding more
It's
ports.
handy for connecting a USB
And notice they still
camera
had the aux cord
or
port.
charging in tabletop mode.
Oh, I guess I didn't notice that. Well, we
Did you
did
not see it?
last time. Well, we talked about it, I guess, in the announcement trailer that
Yeah.
we did see that.
Nintendo Switch 2 comes with 256 gigabytes of internal storage.
It
Which
better.
that's pretty good.
Time
That's
that of Nintendo Switch.
It's
honestly
good.
kind of
For storing your
low
game downloads,
Right,
nowadays,
saving
but
but
and
it
more.
better, right?
Yeah.
Because like all these
Reading and
games that
writing
are
data is
Nintendo
also
Switch
faster.
2 made are
Yeah.
going to probably be pretty gigantic,
Yeah.
especially if it's
Nintendo
not
Switch
from
2 dock
Nintendo.
to connect.
yeah, a lot, especially the third party stuff like that.
Yeah.
Duskblood is going to be fucking huge
Mm-hmm.
unless they're working really close with Nintendo and like very specifically
to
optimizing
your
it for the
TV
Switch.
and
But
enable up to 4K resolution for compatible games.
Which is big for
HDR
Nintendo.
is
Yeah.
also supported in TV mode.
Because like Cyberpunk is like 60, 70 gigs.
yeah,
Yeah,
So
right.
The Nintendo Switch
it's
2
pretty
dock
standard
has a
these
built-in
days.
fan
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
keeps your system cool. This helps keep performance stable.
the built-in fan is nice,
Yeah. Again, it better.
right? It better. I am curious how loud that's gonna be,
On
Hmm,
Nintendo Switch
but we'll
2,
see.
you can play Nintendo
Wonder if it's
Switch
like
2 games,
adaptive,
as well
like as it
compatible
senses
Nintendo
it gets
Switch
it's getting
games.
hot, it gets
Physical
like faster or
and digital
something.
games
Which
are
will be
supported.
hopeful, but also it's probably just gonna do that because that thing's not gonna stay cool for very long,
Yeah.
depending on what you're running. June 5th, by the way, which I don't think we found out in that last trailer. So that was the overview. Some of the stuff we were seeing in the initial going forward. Actually, I want to talk about, let's jump to the game chat stuff first before we jump to
Yeah.
the actual games. Was that, I feel like we had the Joy-Con video in here, didn't we?
Which one?
The Joy-Con video? Or did we not?
Joy-Con video.
Wasn't there one specifically about Joy-Cons?
Oh, the you're talking about the built-in game thing?
Not the built-in game thing. Well, kind of that. No, I thought we had a video up here that I guess we don't have.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I thought that they would show that also in there, but I guess not. Hold on. I'm going to look it up and then post it. Well, type Welcome Nintendo Switch 2 game and you'll find it.
What game?
Welcome Nintendo.
Oh, Welcome Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. Because that talks about when they announced that talks about the Joy-Con magnet stuff. I think it's like Welcome Nintendo Switch 2. Just type it, you'll find it. It'll be there. Yeah. Welcome tour. Oh, is that the Treehouse one? No, not that one. The announcement. Or maybe this is why we just go to the direct and it will.
Right.
Yeah, just go to the direct and then just like skip the 1 hour direct and just skip ahead to that part really quick. Could probably cut out this time that we're searching for it. It's before that.
Gearing up.
Oh no, I guess they announced Mario Kart first. Yeah, so never mind.
While using the game chat feature, your voice is recognized by a microphone built into the system.
Wait.
But you're still behind me, right? All right, let's keep going. Okay.
It can pick up your speaking voice clearly, even from
Oh,
a
weird.
distance.
Look at this. Jump on here.
No.
All right, let's keep going. Let's make a left right
Oh,
here. Let's make a
okay,
left.
there
When
we
it's
go.
noisy around you, your voice will still come.
You'll look forward to it.
Up next,
Cheesy ass.
we'd like to show you the Nintendo Switch
There he
2
is.
system itself.
This is Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. Exclusive.
Okay, yeah. I want
As
to
you
see
just
this
saw,
welcome tour thing because I
Nintendo
want to see if they
Switch
talk
2
about
isn't simply an improved
the
Nintendo
Joy-Cons. I want to say
Switch.
they do mention
We
specifically how the
redesigned
Joy-Cons
system
attach.
from the ground
Yeah.
up
Also, I have a
packed in
beef
lots of
and
new
a gripe
gameplay
about
features.
this Nintendo Switch 2 welcome
To
tour.
help players better understand the
Oh,
Switch
yeah,
2
we both
hardware,
do.
We're currently developing
Everybody
this
does, if we're being honest.
Yeah, I don't know
Mr.
one person who
Kawamoto.
heard that announcement,
Hello.
who watched it all the way through and thought, I like
What?
that.
No one does.
This is Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour.
So initially we're like,
Exclusive
oh,
to
okay,
Nintendo
this is
Switch
cool.
2.
It's like their pack-in game.
Yeah.
I'm standing over here. Okay, everyone, join me inside the game. There are a lot of question mark icons here. Let's examine them. This sign reads, "Where are the magnets?" The Joy-Con 2 controllers
Yeah, this-
attach to the system with magnets.
This is what I was
And those
talking about.
magnets are inside the
Okay,
system.
they're in
That's
the
what I
system.
thought. That's what I remember hearing.
Yeah,
The SL and SR buttons on the Joy-Con 2 are made of metal,
that's the metal.
Yeah.
Okay.
so that's how they attach to the system. A magnetic circuit is formed between them, so they won't easily detach.
Magnetic circuit.
That's, yeah.
Through examining signs like these, you can discover all sorts of secrets about Nintendo Switch 2.
So
Another
I might just
example,
be,
the Joy-Con 2 controllers
the
have
word
mouse
circuit might
controls.
just be throwing me off and
when
thinking
combined
electrical,
with the
but
gyroscopes,
Yeah.
you can even do
I've never
something
heard
like
it
this.
called a magnetic circuit. before.
same.
They're
You can
probably
adjust
just
the position
dumbing
of
down the
golf club and aim for the
terminology,
cup by rotating
Sure.
the Joy-Con 2.
but yeah, I don't know exactly,
By
but
combining the mouse controls and gyroscopes, things like this are possible.
so we're like,
There are
okay,
secrets to
this is
discover,
cool.
even
It's
as
showing
you're
little
playing
mini games of like
Astro's Playhouse for Nintendo. I'm in
Some of
for
the
it.
secrets range from the unique features of the system
I'll
to
do
tiny
this.
or like, you know,
details you might
Wii
not
Sports,
notice
how
until
that
they're
was a
pointed
thing,
out.
you know,
Yeah.
with
There are
Wii. You're
plenty.
like, okay, so it's showing off the gimmicks
Nintendo
and
Switch 2
stuff.
Welcome Tour
Like,
will launch
cool.
as a paid digital
And then they
game on
showed
the same
this
day
shit.
as
Paid
Nintendo
digital,
Switch 2.
like paid
So
digital
please check
only.
it out if you're interested.
Like,
Who's gonna pay for that?
the fuck you mean paid? It's a tech demo.
Yes.
It's a literal demo to the Nintendo Switch. That should just be on a Switch.
Just like all of the other demos that y'all have done with your releases and other companies.
Right? The live chat, every content creator that I saw after this, because I didn't watch like deep dives in on it or any of the Nintendo Treehouse stuff like you did, but I was watching like Austin John Plays, Maximilian Dude, a few other like content creators that I was just watching their reactions to it. And every time this part came up, they were all like,
Their faces scrunch up. They're like,
what do you mean paid?
hey.
Why is this paid? Why are you making people pay for this? Like, what the fuck?
You took the CAD files for the system.
It
Literally.
just like gave us you took the CAD files and you took the user manual, put them into one thing, and you're making people pay for that.
Right.
When Astro Playworld was fucking free.
That's my problem. I obviously I had a problem with this, but it hit me weird and I didn't know how to explain the feeling until I sat down and we're house sitting for MJ's parents, and so we brought the PlayStation over, and I had
y'all was house sitting and y'all couldn't bring a nigga over for the hot tub.
It's not open yet. They don't have that setup stuff yet.
I feel hurt.
I'll let you know when it is open though, because once that's open, I'm gonna be diving in there too myself. I haven't been able to yet.
Fair enough.
Once they get that ready and I hear about it, you'll hear about it. Trust me. But no, like I sat down and I was like, I haven't finished playing this Astro's Playroom game that came with the Switch. I had a pretty good time with it, but I just kind of stopped. And it wasn't until I started playing the game and that I finished it when I was like, this is what a preloaded game for a console should be.
Yeah.
It is so good. And I don't know. I finished playing through it. I got all of like the achievements or whatever. I played through it enough to get all the different trophies on PS5 or whatever. Like I played the shit out of that game. It is graphically incredible. The gameplay is, I don't know, seamless.
Right.
It showcases the PlayStation 5's like capabilities and the DualSense controller like no other game I've seen for the system. And it was just an incredible time. It's very similar vibes to like Wii Sports, right? Back in the day when you gathered all your family together to, do like, rounds of bowling or, golf or whatever, right? Like very similar, like, internal feeling of joy, right? That's what I got from playing Astro's Playroom, which was, again, free preloaded game for the PS5. And if you kind of compare what that game does to what Nintendo is showing us with this welcome tour,
right?
It's like you would expect the Astro's Playroom to be the paid game that at least is $20 at least,
right?
But that's free. And because of the success of that, they went on to make Astro Boy, right? Which won Game of the Year last year. So after playing that, I really want to play Astro Boy now.
Fun fact, I kept hearing the Astro Boy won Game of the Year, and I was like, isn't that free game that came on the PS5?
I wondered that too. And then I was like, wait, no.
That was the free game.
Playroom was free. Astro Boy is the paid.
Okay.
Got created after this. I wouldn't say because of the success of that, but like I wouldn't be surprised by how many people really enjoyed this.
It was super. It was like it's the one thing I played on the PS5. I remember the day you got a PS5, or not the day you got it, but after you got the PS5, we were over at the apartment I used to stay in.
Yeah.
And we got a chance to play, and that was like the one thing we got to play because that was like
the only thing I had.
It was like all you had at the time, and it was really fucking good. Like it was for a tech demo that's teaching you about the PlayStation and the PS5 and the PlayStation history, and you get to see like all the other consoles and shit.
It was a celebration of PlayStation history. Yes.
It was really fucking good.
Like I've pretty much been an Xbox dude my entire childhood because all my other friends had that. Essentially, if I wanted to play with them, I had to get an Xbox. But playing this game made me wish I had been a PlayStation stan from day one, because all of the really like awesome shout outs, the little showcase room when you unlocked the different trophies and stuff from beating the levels, it's so charming.
Yeah.
So charming. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm sure PlayStation fan people were going wild when they first sat down, plugged in their PlayStation 5 for the first time, launched this game and played through it all,
right,
and experienced it. Like, oh my gosh. So coming down from that game and returning back to what Nintendo is showing here, it pisses me off a little bit.
Yeah, like it's insane. It's absolutely insane.
At least make it free. That's all we're saying.
Like,
just make it free.
From the company that started this shit. That started I guess technically PC started this, but the company that started on the Wii of having a game that's free, it comes with the system. It wasn't necessarily preloaded, but it was free with the system. With Wii Sports, right? Wii Sports was the first game most people touched and one of the most played games on a Wii because it was so fucking fun.
Now, I will say, I was listening to people doing interviews and people reviewing it, and apparently I heard one content creator reviewer saying that Reggie, apparently one of Nintendo's marketing people who was, kind of
Fizeme?
I think so.
Like the biggest name in Nintendo before Doug Bowser took over?
Yeah. Reggie fought to make Wii Sports free, apparently.
Really?
Apparently. And won. But like, if that's the case, like, that worked really well.
That worked super good. Like, now I get it. The Switch did not have a preloaded game, as far as I know. Like, there was Switch Sports 2 or Switch.
We don't even talk about that.
We don't really talk about it. Well, there was Wii Sports, and then there was Switch Sports. Wii Sports, Wii Sports 2, Switch Sports, which was not good. And even though technically those weren't tech demos, they were making heavy use of the gimmick for each one. Like, now we're getting the Switch 2 Welcome Tour, and it's like, the only thing I can hope for is that this bitch is going to be like $5 and is just a user manual that means nothing.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way I can see them justified, not even so much justified, but at least making it okay that it's a paid thing and that I'm never going to fucking spend money on. Like, there's no way you do something like this and go, and it's going to cost money.
Yeah. And it's like, I know we talked about like Astro Boy and everything, and maybe that's unfair as, whatever you want to spin on it.
It's unfair, but also Nintendo should have done something like that.
Right. It's like,
Nintendo has a rich history.
Right. It's not like, we know y'all got Mario. We know you're working on some big titles with this Switch 2 release. So it's like, we're not going to ask you to make a whole action adventure game based on just, solely the gimmicks of your new system. Kind of like Astro Boy was. You could, that would be great. But I guess you don't have to.
You don't have to.
Whatever you do, make it free.
Like, this should just be free. Like, this should be free. There's no way, there's no getting around it. That the idea that this is a paid game it's gonna sit well with anybody. Yeah. I'm curious because it wouldn't be the first time. I don't know. It wouldn't be the first time prices had to get changed because people's reaction to it was basically like, I'm just not going to buy it. I think it was the 3DS that got a lower price point not long after it launched, because like nobody was buying it. Nobody was going to pay $350 for a Nintendo 3DS. It just wasn't going to happen.
I guess I could see that, seeing as there was the DS, the DSi, the
DSXL.
DSXL.
No, DSXL did not have one.
Well, then there was the one that like didn't fold, but was also a DS. I don't know what they called that.
That was a 2DS, but that came after the 3DS.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was the initial chunky DS, the DSi, the chunky DS, DSi, DS Lite, and then I think DS Lite gave away to 3DS. And then 3DS introduced the XL series and all that fun shit.
Oh, okay. There's just so many different levels of DS going around.
Right.
I'm not surprised people probably saw that and was like, eh.
Do you remember the DS that didn't fold?
Yeah,
2DS we just talked about.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
the 2DS.
The 2DS.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Why?
That was they can make it cheaper. It was cheaper than a regular 3DS.
More durable.
And a little more durable.
But why?
Because little kids fuck their shit up a lot.
Oh, because
you'd be shocked how much more willing parents were to pay for the 2DS. I was working at Toys R Us at the time the 2DS came out. 2DS, the major selling point was like it held up a lot better to children 7 and under.
Did it have bulletproof screens?
The screens themselves are always pretty durable because those screens were plastic.
Yeah, I remember the form of the 2DS. It was pretty chunky.
It was chunky. It held up a lot better because the main. I don't know why we're talking about the 3DS right now, but the main failure point of the 3DS was the hinge. That failed most of the time when something went wrong. It was either straight up the hinge wearing out, or the video cable that ran through the hinge getting fucked up somehow. Yeah. Which was also due to the hinge itself wearing out.
I remember my first DS started to crack in the middle, and I wasn't even doing anything crazy with it.
Same.
Over time, I think it just wore down.
I have a DS Lite packed away somewhere that I've been meaning to go on and get a new video cable and swapping out the hinge on it at some point. But yeah, like it just wore out because it's just a failure point. Like the amount of times you're gonna open and close that thing, and you're not gonna always softly close it. No, it's fucking snapping that bitch closed, right?
Maybe the first week you're like, but then slowly it starts.
I don't give a damn. You're like you're snapping that bitch closed. You're throwing it on your bed and all types of shit.
All right.
So it was a terrible failure point. And so if you can remove that failure point, it created a much more durable thing. And once again, $100 cheaper than the 3DS. So like when you can do that, to me, it makes sense. Yeah. To me, it makes sense as a move.
That's fair.
And it did all this. I think the other thing that it removed was the gyroscope, the gyroscopic, it's not gyroscopic, whatever they call their 3D, their stereoscopic.
Okay. Yeah.
The 3D slider you could turn on the 3DS, the thing that everyone used for like a week and then no one used.
Yeah.
It was like kind of fun for a little bit, and then it stopped being fun and you never turned it back on ever again. They removed that, which also helped make it cheaper.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
But yeah.
But see, Nintendo, let's look how we're talking about the history of your products.
You know, it'd be real fun. A fucking Mario Boy or some shit like Mario's Playroom, or actually I don't like the name Mario's Playroom.
Something like that. That's free.
Y'all should have an Astro Boy that's just free, or Astro World that's just free.
Right. Like the takeaway is
Mario
make
Paint
it 3D.
Which I hope we get that with the whole mouse functionality.
Yeah, like
we should get that. We should get that again.
You could do like a whole sculpting program and
super good.
Yeah.
Mario Paint, but it's like instead of just painting, it is literally just like a whole work like 3D. You could do 3D art stuff in it
with the gyroscopes. The Switch, it would actually be kind of difficult because it hinges on VR, but they could absolutely do that one VR like light sculpt.
Yeah,
app. I forget what the name of it is, but where you can sculpt in midair.
Tilt brush,
yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel like they could do something like that. But Nintendo, y'all have an opportunity to do something. I have to remember what it is. I thought about it like 3 seconds ago and it's already gone.
Oh, shit.
I'll get back to y'all in a second.
Insert it into here when you remember.
Yeah. No, now I want to remember. Fuck. There's a thing they can do. We were talking about Mario Paint. If Nintendo has the opportunity to, and I don't know why the mouse function and the Mario Paint function made me think of this, but Nintendo has the opportunity to jump 100% both feet in on the modding community, like just an official modding community on the Nintendo Switch too, and they let people mod whatever they want. That would make me forgive all of this bullshit.
Fair.
Unreal Engine editor.
Yeah, like Nintendo Switch 2 officially supports Unreal Engine.
Yeah.
And Unity is like, it's not like they can't, but y'all have a chance. Y'all have a chance to do something really cool. I doubt y'all will, but you could.
Mm-hmm.
You could. But
bad move making this paid.
Really bad move, because that's literally the only takeaway everyone has from it. Because it's like, you're not showing off that it's going to be like an Astro World where there's going to be this full game thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it's like, look at the maracas move around.
Right. Look at the maracas. Play these small little like bullshit little tutorial games.
It's kind of like the definition of like they're like telling us what this does. And I saw some people say this too. It's like they're showing more, kind of benchmarky stuff.
Yeah.
Versus like giving us like full experiences with the new, system,
right?
With this game specifically.
Would be fine if it wasn't paid.
Right.
Don't make me pay money for this shit.
What if it's like $1?
That would be okay. Not okay, but it's better than... I feel like if it was $1, they should have just fucking said it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. If it was $1, say it's $1. But the fact that you're not saying what the price is
makes me feel like we're gonna get to launch day and it's gonna have like a $19.99 price tag.
I was gonna say $20.
Like if this, I feel like if this has a $9.99 price tag on it, that's too fucking much.
Yeah.
But maybe like we get this and it is a full 60-hour game with side quests or some stupid shit. Like, it would be insane. Like, did people get a chance to try this out on the floor, you were saying?
Yeah, from what I was seeing and watching people in their different showroom, experiences, most of the content creators were like, I had no interest in seeing this whatsoever. But they showed like other people like playing it for a little bit. And it's essentially what Nintendo just showed us in this. It's just like, yeah, the maracas thing. Yeah, you can play like old Mario and it like will go all across the screen just to show you how big 4K is. But like for people like us who know what 120 frames essentially feels like and who know what 4K is, it's not that impressive to us. We're just finally happy that Nintendo caught up and that they can actually do something with this type of benchmark stuff now.
Caught up is an interesting term, but
like
they're still being outpaced.
But I want 400 frames.
But it's like, everybody who was a content creator they basically didn't dive too deep into this.
So unless we're being fucking pranked by everybody who's signed under an embargo or some shit, there's just nothing here that's going to make it being paid worthwhile.
Yeah. There's like a guess the frame rate little mini game.
Right.
But it's, like, oh, how fast did you think that was? Was it 60 frames? Was it 30 frames or 120 frames?
I don't know. Who cares?
If they take $20 off the console price.
So they gave it to you essentially for free?
Yeah.
Watch them actually do that. People are like, whoa, it got cheaper.
I don't know, because I think I would just rather take the $20 off, but I doubt.
Yeah.
Are you saying if they took $20 off if you bought the game?
No, so the console costs $20 less because it doesn't come with the $20 game.
Oh, yeah, it could be.
Well, that's the thing. This doesn't come with it.
I was going to say, right? Like, it doesn't come with the $20 game, or because I think that's what he's saying, though, right?
But the Switch would have been $470 if this game was included with it, and they take that away and just make it a $20 option. I don't think I believe that, but yeah, like
my question that would be, why would they do that? Why not just say the price is what it is and then you get this for free? That's a way better.
That sounds way better, because I'm not gonna fucking sneeze. I'm not gonna sneeze at $470.
Then you have to pay for the game because it comes with the console.
We don't fucking know that,
but we wouldn't know. Yeah,
we don't know that though.
They don't tell us. Then
illusion of choice, bitch. Like, as long as I don't know, I don't care. The difference between $450 and $470 isn't that much to care about when I'm buying the console.
So like, just should have put it on for free.
Yeah,
and then charge $20 more for the console.
They coulda, yeah.
Like people who were gonna get mad at the price of how everything is were already gonna be that.
Yeah.
You may as well just do the $470 price tag and say this is free at that point. You know?
But now that we know that it's $450, which I don't think they were ever going to do $470, they've always done rounded to 50s for most of their, like, at least in the last like 20 years. But neither here nor there. It's ridiculous that this is paid, and that's pretty much everyone's feelings about it.
Yeah.
Speaking of other ridiculous shit, I say ridiculous. Fluff kind of talked me around on this. I didn't really have a hugely negative, but I really didn't have a positive opinion about it. But
the opinion that I had initially was, I don't know anybody in my life who would buy this like legit, right?
Yeah.
And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this becomes a huge thing and everybody wants this when it drops.
Game chat it's not so much that you're buying game chat. If you get Nintendo Switch Online, you'll get game chat. You need Nintendo Switch Online to have game chat.
Well, that's another thing that I did not realize, or at least it went over my head when I initially saw it. But then I saw another content creator's video. I posted it in the list here. Beat 'em ups. I saw a beat 'em ups video where he was talking about how expensive certain things are. And I guess I could wait to talk about this or pause it real quick. But like, basically, game chat is free, right?
Yeah.
If you have a online subscription for a year, and then you'll have to pay for game chat, which I didn't realize.
They said everyone can use it for a year for free.
Yes.
And then after that year, you need to have your subscription to get game chat. Because it wouldn't.
No.
Really?
Not.
So you have a Nintendo subscription.
Yeah.
And you get game chat for free for a year. But then after the year, you have to pay for your Nintendo subscription and game chat.
Yes. I think that's the deal.
Okay, let's.
And I think right, you hovered over it there.
I was going to say, I was going to go through this whole thing. I don't really need to. It's like 7 minutes long.
And I'm double checking what
I was
he
going to say,
found
if
here.
you want to take a look at that.
He skipped straight to it. He says, yeah, game chat welcome offer until basically this time next year. Game chat welcome offer. Whatever they're calling.
No, they straight up said it in here that I think whoever that is really took the worst possible interpretation of it. You know what? Let's watch it right quick because maybe I'm the fucking wrong one. The Nintendo Switch 2 camera being a fucking paid add-on is fucking stupid.
I expected that.
Except
honestly.
I do expect that. I'm just being hyperbolic.
Are we gonna get like Fruit Ninja?
Yes.
That
All
would
right,
be
let's
cool.
actually go back and show off some shit before we get to that.
But what would you do with game chat if you didn't have online?
Exactly. Like you can't do anything with it if you don't have online anyway. So it makes sense that it'll come with game chat. But now it kind of throws it into the question because if you don't have online, you can't. Well, I guess you could technically use it because I don't think you have to. Because it's just connecting you to other people. Maybe you can't do in-game stuff, but
I think
you can play with other people and have a Discord-like experience with game chat.
I guess it's still one of those unknown things as of current, but like,
Where's the? Huh?
like that's what it was.
No, they talked about it.
No, I think they skimmed over it. They did not say anything else on it.
I remember them saying stuff about it.
In this video?
Not necessarily this video.
Or compete in online multiplayer games.
All right. Let's reopen. Let's reopen this.
It's towards the beginning.
There it is.
For a limited time.
Yeah, okay. In the
Oh,
official thing, they had
including family and friends. Almost as if you're all playing together in the same place.
Yeah, let's see what they say because they did not put this in that.
The camera you saw in the trailer is
Which
the
is
Nintendo
sus.
Switch 2 camera, which will be available on the same day as Switch 2.
Yeah.
I feel like that's not gonna do well at all.
A Nintendo Switch Online membership will be required to use game
that
chat.
makes sense.
Yeah.
However, since we'd like as many people as possible to experience game chat, it will be available without a membership for a limited time.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
okay.
what I remember them
Okay,
saying.
okay. Okay.
But, well, I guess the trailer
Interesting.
would remove the voiceover stuff that's going on in here.
That does make sense.
Because I was going to say it wouldn't make sense to make you pay a second subscription for it. Because I wouldn't say it wouldn't make sense, but I remember I don't remember them saying that during the presentation.
Yeah, no.
Does he say anything about them updating terms of service or getting that from the website post direct or anything?
I think his source was also just other people freaking out about it.
Yeah,
So-
that sounds like someone took the worst possible interpretation
Yeah.
and ran with it.
Which that makes a lot more sense if it is like, you know, everybody just gets access to the chat feature. But my thing is, how can you do that unless you're also giving everybody free online for a year.
Well, online is specifically so you can connect to other people's games and play stuff together. So like doing for Mario Kart, for example, that's how you get into online lobbies is with
So you just won't be able to play
You might
the
not be able
same
to
game
play
with
with
people.
people.
You would
Yeah.
just be able to do Discord calls with people who are playing different games.
yes. Or even if they're playing the same game, you'll be able to do the whole like screen sharing thing and all that fun
You just
stuff.
can't join
wanna
in
be
their race or
doing
something for playing
lobbies and
Mario
stuff.
Kart.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Let's see if there's some updated information right quick.
Because it is possible they could have changed that or something since then, but I don't know.
Because it seems like the main thing about it is that it's just going to be Discord built into, which I would have preferred they just did Discord built into a Switch.
And that's what I was saying. And that's why I think when I said initially, like, I don't know anybody or any friends who I know or people I hang around who will get this feature specifically for the Switch, because we already do, Discord hangouts where we...
That's where Fluff reminded me. Of course we do.
Right.
We're adults who have been in the gaming industry and doing video gaming for damn near our whole lives. The Switch 2 is still being marketed to children.
But the kids won't.
Kids.
And that makes sense.
Kids get on fucking game chats and shit with their friends on their goddamn phones all the time.
Mm-hmm.
This is a feature for kids to use.
Mm-hmm.
As well as you have to remember, we have capture cards in our PCs when it comes to Nintendo stuff games specifically, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not so much the chat feature. To me, it's the video sharing thing I think they're kind of focusing on.
Yeah.
Which is not great, but
the quality is not
it's very choppy, but understandably so, especially since you're not playing through a screen.
And it's $50.
Right. Even amongst adults, the average person is not going to have an Elgato or a whatever the other brands are that you capture cards you can get in your PC. Like most of them are not going to pay the $100-$200 to get a capture card put in their PC to play Switch games and view them on other things. We did that because we're streamers, or we did streaming, and we still going to get back to that.
We're still going to stream.
We're slowly getting there. I'm probably going to start streaming soon, actually. But the average person is not going to have this functionality to see their friends playing their Nintendo Switch games together.
Yeah.
And that is the value add that's going on here that needs to be focused on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and when he reminded me of that, I was like, okay, that does make sense. And if this is going to be a feature that comes with a Nintendo Switch Online account, like if you're already paying for the Switch Online account and you're getting this added on, then it's like essentially free. And it's like, okay, I'm never going to get a subscription for this specifically for game chat, but I'm getting online because I'm going to play Mario Kart online. I'm going to play whatever the fuck else online. I'm going to play Pokemon online. So if I'm doing that and this comes with it, it's at that point, it's kind of a nice bonus. Am I ever going to use it? Probably not. I'm probably just going to do Discord calls, but like,
yeah, I know I personally, unless a game comes out that is like
game
crazy,
chat is included with any Nintendo Switch Online membership.
Okay, good. Like, unless a game comes out that I'm keep hitting my mic, I'm sorry. Unless the game comes out that is crazy and it's like, oh, if you have a camera, like it enhances the gameplay like 1,000%. Like,
well, it's like what was the PlayStation camera? PlayStation 2?
Oh, the PS camera.
Yeah.
Or like the Xbox Connect or whatever.
Yeah, like I think there were some decent games for that stuff.
Yeah.
But
well, they show off games for that. Like Mario Party specifically has.
Like, it's just nobody bought the peripheral.
Like nobody, I'm not going to, because I think the peripheral's like $150 on the PS2.
Yeah, it's kind of pricey.
And the Kinect, I think, was like $200, if not more. So
yeah.
It's like, no, Kinect didn't come with an Xbox 360, did it?
No.
That's what I thought. Okay, so it was a peripheral. And it's like,
I mean, they're probably bundles, but like,
I'm sure.
Definitely not initially, no.
Yeah. I remember one Xbox Connect for the longest time.
I did too. I don't even remember what kind of games they had for it, though.
It was the only one that ever stands. Well, obviously there was the Just Dance series, which was probably like the
dancing
main
games.
One. There was stuff. there was the infamous Sonic Free Riders. That is the worst
Yep.
selling point. I want to say there was at least one or two other like skating games that are like bundled with, like there was the one Tony Hawk game that had I think this was for Wii though, that had the skateboard that you actually skate on, or Skate 3 or whatever the fuck that was.
Oh man.
Right. Like there was stuff that made use of it. PlayStation camera had some, like, it was gimmicky. It was a gimmick, right? And it's shaping up to be that way for the Switch as well. It's just a gimmick. My fat ass doesn't want to do a lot of moving around when I'm playing games. Like, I'm just going to be real with you.
Yeah. Like seeing all the cool, like, you know, you put yourself in this Mario Party game, like where they're hitting their fists on the coin blocks or whatever. Like, that's cool, but you know, like,
yeah, they're not going to show it off in this trailer, but we'll probably get to see it in
they did
in this trailer specifically. I'm not seeing it. They might have recut this trailer specifically and put it in a separate trailer
right there.
Well, they're showing off they're showing the face stuff.
Weird.
So you can see faces, but so it might be in the Mario Party
Jamboree one,
where it shows the upgrade, what the upgrades are.
Probably.
Where was that? There it is. Is it in here?
Yeah, it's definitely in there.
Yeah, there it is.
Right there.
So we're going to skip ahead a little bit and we'll come back to the full announcement for this.
Because this is essentially the only reason why we have Jamboree as a talking point in here.
Yeah.
Because like of the camera features, the extra Switch 2 stuff, which is cool, but you know.
And this will tie into, this ties into the whole like paid upgrade thing that everybody's been kind of curious about, because we don't know how much that stuff is, but we'll get there.
Oh yeah. The three different game types that there are, which is basically backwards compatible Switch
Nintendo
games,
Switch games, Nintendo Switch 2 games, and Nintendo Switch 2 Edition
that are like upgrades of
to Nintendo Switch games.
Yeah.
So the ones they showed off during the Direct were Kirby's Forgotten Land has a Nintendo Switch 2 Edition,
which has like an extra like DLC, like extra part 2. It's not just upgraded visuals, is also there's an extra like extra levels and stuff with it, which is cool.
Zelda.
So are they re-releasing it, or you just put your cart in and
so you could just put your card in and get the Nintendo Switch and you just play the backwards compatible version. Is the way they explained it is there is essentially a DLC you can get if you have the Nintendo Switch version that will upgrade it to the Nintendo Switch 2 version, as well as the extra funsies and BS.
Yeah. I don't remember what the process is like. I don't know if they explain what you have to do.
And that's the annoying bit. They don't explain. They don't tell you how much it costs, if it costs at all. I remember there being like, I think it was mostly a rumor.
I think it's like $20 or something.
Some people are saying it might be $20. Some people are saying like the Zelda. So Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is going to have is going to get a Switch 2 edition. And they're saying like that one might be free, but it's one of those things where it seems like a lot of speculation and not a lot of evidence pointing to anything yet.
Or at least like I haven't looked.
Same. I haven't looked, and the few things I've looked at have been like non-conclusive.
Yeah. None of the games that they've shown Switch 2 versions of have really piqued my interest that much.
Even the Tears of the Kingdom upgrade, like what you're getting with the upgrade is the HDR support, which it will look beautiful, and that will be kind of nice when I decide to go through Tears of the Kingdom again, as well as a companion app, mobile app that like pretty much gives you a in-hand map and like location guide kind of thing, which is like nice. And the way they showed it off makes it look like it can track where you are in game and just ports that information to the mobile app. So
is that something that like you wished you had, or is that something that it's like not, you don't necessarily need that?
You won't necessarily need it. There's something I needed them to show off that they didn't show off. And that was if they can lead you to locations specifically. So when I say locations, I mean like specific bridges, specific caves, specific towns. Because I've talked about this before, one of the completion requirements to get 100% is that you visit every single named location on the map. I've been stuck at 99.97%. since I started doing completion.
And there's just one place?
location, and I have no idea where it is.
Damn.
I've like people have done fan made maps already, and that's the other thing they're kind of competing with here is that stuff has already been done. Like fans have had this stuff ready, like going and pretty much live updating since Tears of the Kingdom came out. Really since Breath of the Wild, but they've been updating it with Tears of the Kingdom stuff. Like weapon locations, chest locations, specific monster locations, like all that stuff has already been a thing. So that's not a huge value add to me, but I say that as someone who's savvy enough to go find that information if I need to. If I were a kid and I could convince my parents to upgrade for me, and this was my first experience with now what makes that weird is that I'll probably just buy the Switch 2 version. I've probably already played, like Tears of the Kingdom has been out for so fucking long. It's weird to be getting this now. Because if this is going to be my first Zelda experience and I can only do it with the Switch 2 upgrade, I'm probably just going to get I already have a Switch 2 and I'm just going to get the Switch 2 version. But at that point, that's one thing. But if it's specifically about the function, I guess if it was like my first time going through, it would be nice to have an official version of that. I would like to see that it is in fact an official version of what fans have already created. Because what I would hate to have happen, and with Nintendo it's very possible this will happen, is they're going to create a version that's already available that's inferior because they're trying not to give away too much. Like they're going to do the official guide thing. Like it's like looking at a Nintendo official guide versus someone's created walkthrough.
Yeah.
Which is always like, if you want specifically this item, go through this sequence, or you can find reliably in this pot in this specific location. Whereas an official guide will be like, break pots until you find a rupee, like type shit, right? So we'll see. Like it's I need to see more before I can say there's a value add to it, in my opinion.
Fair.
What I am looking up here,
Nintendo
Swatch. I can barely read my my what's called bar. So I want to read here. Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Party, Kirby, and Metroid Prime 4 are the first ones we're getting that's gonna have stuff. Cause I'm old. Contents and enhancements of the upgrade packs vary by game. They can include visual improvements, new features, or additional game modes. Can only be played on Nintendo Switch. We already have the original Switch game as either physical or digital. You can upgrade to the Nintendo Switch 2 edition by purchasing. Okay, so you do have to buy it. The game's upgrade pack from Nintendo eShop. By Nintendo or retailers. After you upgrade, the original Switch game can still be played on Nintendo Switch, though the features and content of the Nintendo Switch 2 edition can only be played on Switch 2. So faster loading times, HDR, so Switch. So, Breath of the Wild does get one too, and Tears of the Kingdom. Support for the Zelda Notes game-specific service via Nintendo Switch app. Improved frame rates and resolution, faster load times, yada, yada, yada. Same thing for that. Why is that the brightest yellow ever?
Oh my gosh.
Jesus Christ.
Is that official Nintendo website?
This is official Nintendo.
No.
Why is that so yellow? Why is it like the only one that's just a bright yellow? Is there any pattern to that?
Who approved
Did
that?
something not load?
You don't have dark
if it
mode
didn't,
on,
it's
right?
only for this.
You have dark mode on? Does that?
I do, but it's usually not this fucking aggressive. Let's turn you off.
Because that doesn't have a pattern.
Okay.
It does have a pattern. I can see it now.
Oh.
Okay, it wasn't the dark mode was. Okay, interesting.
Okay, you're forgiven, I guess, Nintendo, for now.
Okay, yeah, it just being white letters has made it was so fucking bright. It's still weird. This is just a bright yellow. New modes using the mouse controls, microphone. Yeah, so the Mario Party Jamboree is what's definitely going to be showing off the most of the new Switch features.
Yeah,
but we don't get how much any of this shit's going to cost. That's my biggest thing right now. Is like I want to know how much this costs, because like, are we basically going to be paying the difference between a Nintendo Switch 2 game and a Nintendo Switch game? And
then that touches on the topic of game prices.
boy, we're gonna hold off on that, and we'll come back to that because I think that's gonna be a big discussion.
Yeah. But I don't know. Let's see. Does it say anything in any of those screenshots?
No, they're specifically avoiding it. Like they're avoiding the absolute hell out of mentioning what the price is gonna be.
I thought I heard something about $20.
I think people have been throwing out their own speculations, and I think financial analysts have been saying a lot of shit, but we have not gotten any official word from Nintendo about how much this stuff is going to cost. Yeah, Jamboree, there's not a lot to talk about other than the fact that they're going to be trying to make use of the camera peripheral, which is like $90, or it might be like 120 by itself. So I'm never going to play this shit. Also, I'm fat and lazy and don't want to do it anyway. What we don't know is if third-party cameras would work. Like if I took my Logitech webcam, would that still work? Because it is just a USB camera.
I don't know. I feel like Nintendo did something specific to that camera for it to work on the Switch. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like this is one of those like the company made version of the thing is going to be the best version, even regardless.
Even like your Logitech has to have firmware installed on the PC to work.
I mean, yeah, but that firmware would just be on the Switch.
Yeah. Is it though?
But they would have to make it specifically firmware for the Switch.
Possibly, yeah.
There'll probably be like third-party
I was going to say,
cameras.
there's going to be third-party. Power A is going to make shit.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are companies that are going to make things like their own cameras for the Switch, but like I don't think we could just plug any, I mean,
it depends on how they do it, because like the filters and stuff, like the cutout filters for TikTok and Snapchat and shit, that stuff is not camera specific, as I understand it. That's just making use of it's the reason why your Logitech camera can do, if you do like virtual environments in either Microsoft Teams or OBS or anything, you can do, it's a little more rudimentary in places, but you can get cutout stuff just going with any camera you got. And so that's why I'm leading to I wonder if you could just plug and play because obviously it is firmware specific, but that firmware is usually a part of the software.
Or not firmware,
driver specific. Sorry, but that stuff is usually a part of the software too. And if as long as it can get a camera feed in, it uses its own software to do the cutouts and shit. I don't know if that's what Nintendo is doing or not. It could be specific to the camera as a way to save on performance with the Switch, because that would be a lot for the Switch to be trying to do all at one time, right? So I can see the world in which that is the case. I could hope for the world in which what I'm saying is the case, but I don't know. I wouldn't use this anyway. So it is what it is, right? It is a very expensive upgrade to play this version of Jamboree.
Yeah.
That it would be nice if you could plug in any camera, because I feel like to ask anyone to pay for that is just going to be such a hard ask right now. It's going to be such a hard ask for anybody right now. And I would imagine they wouldn't want to go through the process of doing all this work for it to not turn a profit, but also wouldn't be the first time.
I mean, the thing is though, too, is this is Nintendo.
It is Nintendo.
People are going to buy their shit.
People are gonna buy the console, but people are gonna buy the shit. But people are gonna buy Jamboree. People are gonna buy a Switch too. I think that's the farthest of the line that we can reasonably expect people to just go on and buy it. I'm gonna buy a Nintendo Switch too. I know for a fact I am. Jamboree, I'm kind of up in the air, but I haven't even bought Jamboree for the Switch yet. Meh. If it ends up being a big Mario Party game that gets a lot of people to play, I will.
Oh, I mean, I guess I'm talking about the camera in particular.
That's what I'm saying, though, right? The game, absolutely. The console, absolutely. But when you start getting the peripheral stuff like that, that's where you start getting. I feel like that's where you start to see the most major drop off. But we'll see. They'll make their money back on the game, no problem.
Yeah.
But are you going to get a lot of use out of that? Which I guess it doesn't matter if you're getting everyone to get it on the Switch too. So
yeah.
Let's watch
Let's get into some games.
Yeah, let's get into some of these games.
We've talked a lot about the different specs of the system and the different accessories. Let's talk about the game.
Let's take a hot break before that because I kind of need one.
After a break.
Be right back. All right. I think the thing I'm most excited about is going to be, I'm fairly certain, available day one with the Switch 2.
Mm-hmm. The new Mario Kart.
That new Mario Kart.
Yes, sir. This was teased in the announcement trailer for the Switch. They showed like little screenshots and short snippets of this track right here.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, ooh, new Mario Kart. Ooh.
Which, of course, Mario Kart 9 has been in development for a long time.
Yeah. We knew this was coming with the announcement of a new console, essentially.
Is it going to be open world?
Yeah.
Dang.
We'll see.
How much of this direct did you see?
I haven't seen any.
He hasn't seen any of it.
Oh, yeah. Like, it looks great.
I love a Tom groove.
Music's amazing.
Which I would expect. It's Mario Kart.
Right.
I would almost say Mario Kart is more flagship than the main Mario series at this point.
Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair.
My boy Shy Guy is still here.
Riding on walls.
Yep. Grinding,
you could be a cow.
essentially.
You could be a hammer bro. Oh, it just looks so nice.
Right?
Euro Truck Simulator.
Graphics.
Fucking costume changes. I missed that.
Yeah, the wonder power up or whatever, like the wonder
Wonder Seed?
effects.
Okay.
Mario Wonder.
Bike lanes.
Yep.
Grinding. And it's
Wow, that looks pretty sweet. The map. That's
It
crazy.
looks amazing, and it's crazy how big it is.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like, I think they show it off in this.
And the other crazy thing about this is that there's a whole separate direct for just Mario Kart.
Yeah.
In what? A couple weeks?
I think so, yeah. Maybe like a week from now.
Yeah. So maybe next week we'll just have
We'll probably have another one for this, too, yeah.
Depending on the time of day and weather conditions,
I think Fluff
atmosphere will change.
might still be. No, I think he'll be back on Tuesday.
He might be back. Yeah,
He'll be
we'll
back by
see.
then. He'll just have to deal with it.
But yeah.
Oh, yeah. 24 players.
Wow.
You can go off the
And it is
racetrack
open
and drive
world.
Open world.
everywhere in this
Fully.
world.
Like,
In the Classic Grand Prix, race through 4 courses in a bid for first place. But don't sleep at the wheel. You'll
Oh,
also
wow.
drive to
So
the
it's
next course
nonstop.
as part of the
Yeah.
competition. With 24 drivers in each race, the most in series history, the
Yeah, you're
competition
fighting
is
for
gearing up.
Yeah.
4 races nonstop,
which is
essentially.
sick.
Now they did show off this in the treehouse show off like the next day. There is like some like black screening break a little bit. It's not like the race ends or you're
You can put it
immediately-
down and
Yeah, you can take
Yeah.
a sip of your water for
Okay.
like, a good 10-15 seconds, but then you're right back into the next part of the race, which takes you from that first track to the second track and you're racing there.
that outfit was amazing.
Oh yeah. Some of these outfits that they've like shown over this past week have been like, ooh.
Yeah.
It's like,
By going off-road, you can explore new
Yeah,
areas
this
and
free roam
routes.
is nuts.
Yeah.
So drive
What
wherever
I'm
your
hoping
heart
for
takes
is that we get a Need for Speed style, like,
you can also
which
go
this
for
is awesome that you can just go on drives with friends.
Mm-hmm.
I
Even
hope
take photos together
I
at different
hope they give a
locations.
side quest that you can go do, and then makes that, because like there's a chance they could just give you the open world free roam thing, and I'd be cool with that. But I do really hope we get like
A brand new
during the
race
free
across
roam
the
you can
entire
get side
West
quests and go
Or
do
like
shit.
hidden like achievements or something
Right.
where it's like, oh, you went to this like,
Yeah.
monument or something in free roam.
Right.
That would be fun.
Okay, yeah, so next week, Thursday?
Yeah.
It's the 17th, I believe,
Yeah, let me check.
because I have an appointment on the 17th as well. So which
Yeah.
is probably going to be over that, so I won't be able to watch this live. But yeah,
Thursday.
so
Is this only for the Switch too?
yes, I believe so. I
The
think
Mario
this one-
Kart?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not dropping on regular Switch.
The game launches on the same day as
I'd be
Nintendo
surprised
Switch
if
2.
they
Have the Nintendo
dropped it
Switch
for the
version, 'cause
regular Switch.
I don't
Yeah.
think that'll be able to support the 24 player
No.
Yeah.
shit. Wildly excited for this. Like
Yeah.
I'm crazy excited for this. Like this is the reason I'm down to get this day one.
Mm-hmm.
Like did you see the sign up that you have to do a sign up process to pre-order a Switch?
No.
Did you not see that?
I guess I never thought about pre-ordering it. I was just gonna,
There's right.
You had to have like online subscription for what?
At least a year, 12 months.
Oh, really?
So it's their way of combating scalping.
Oh, I guess.
So somebody can't just like pre-order like 20 of these bitches just to resell them.
See, what if you canceled your online subscription though for a minute?
Then you probably don't care about playing online day one.
I mean, well, I canceled my online subscription, my Nintendo Online sub because I haven't played online for a long time with anybody.
Did you have it for at least a year?
Oh yeah.
Then you were probably fine.
Oh, okay.
It was based.
If you want to scalp the console, you have to sign up for it now.
It's too late now.
You
but
still could I think you can buy 2, right? Per.
I believe so. I think that's what it was. I don't remember exactly what the number is, but it's a very limited number. But it assumes you have an account. You have to have all the stuff. Really, you have to like have a phone number registered to the account and all that fun stuff to your Nintendo Online account. At least 50 hours of game play to the account.
That too. That's great.
Like it's basically going. You have to be someone who's actually
you have to be
played
a
with
person.
actual interest in the Switch.
Which I like that. I
very much
that.
like it.
I appreciate.
How do we
that.
do this with graphics cards?
I think you just. That's a good question. Actually, that's a good question. Actually,
but yeah,
I guess we'll see.
This Mario Kart, new characters.
Fuck ton of new characters you posted.
Yeah, there's like someone posted like a picture of like all these crazy the roster essentially, or at least some of the roster of like
Which
new.
We're just getting every enemy type and the Moo Moo Cow.
A skeleton fish.
Yeah.
Which I love that they grabbed the screenshots from the trailer showing us these different characters, because the skeleton fish is actually crazy.
It doesn't have any arms or legs.
It has no arms or legs to drive with.
Like part of me wonders
The
if
snowman.
any of these are photoshopped, which would be hilarious. But
it would
also
be hilarious, but also too easily verifiable that this would have been debunked immediately. I say as I'm too lazy to go through the trailer and go find all of these.
But I mean, if you look at like the cover art or like that cover splash image of Mario Kart that they've been showing on everything, there's just so many random characters in there.
Right.
That like back there where
is.
you're like, okay, I could see how the fish could be a character. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they got like the freaking Goomba, yeah, but then like the freaking like
the
desert.
The beetle dude. Do you see the Pokey? The Spiny?
Yeah, the Pokey, like, bruh.
Yeah, the Pokey's in there. I honestly, I think there's the penguin.
Yep, everybody was freaking out about the penguin and the cow.
Which also we haven't talked about. They have fucking jet skis.
Yeah, when you get
I haven't
in the
heard
water.
anyone mention this yet. Like
Mhm.
that's a first. That's straight up a first for Mario Kart, I believe.
Which, I mean, also like the fact that they're airplanes instead of just gliders
Yeah,
now too. It's like
yeah.
they're actually vehicles instead of just like, a little glider or
Yeah,
something like
extendo air stuff. I honestly, I'm willing to err towards this being true.
that. I feel like
I
that's
imagine all
true.
these were in here.
Yeah.
Which that's going to be an insane roster.
It's
Which I
ridiculous.
guess you kind of have to. You just have to start putting everything in there if you're going to have rosters of 24.
Yeah. I mean,
going.
this feels like, how Smash Bros, like having everybody
Ultimate,
here.
yeah.
Yeah. It was like, this seems like Mario Kart Ultimate. Like,
Yeah, this feels like the step before Mario Kart 10 comes out, and it is just Smash Kart. Like, we're just going to start getting everybody from different franchises. If not this game might just become their live service game, and it just keeps getting DLC.
I was going to say, I think if any Mario Kart game I feel would be getting like continuous DLC to make bigger, it makes sense that it would be Mario Kart World.
Yeah.
You know?
And I'd be down for that. Like, now that it's open world formula, open-ish world, like free roam formula, along with these carts, along with these characters, I don't know if there's really anything else I want Mario Kart to do.
Right.
Like, even if it could have stayed Mario Kart 8, and I would have just been cool with just getting new DLC characters and stages constantly.
Man,
we'll see.
You know what I'm curious about? Actually, I just thought about this.
What's that?
Every Mario Kart had like their own Rainbow Road.
It did.
How the fuck is that going to work with this?
What do you mean?
It's open world, but like
you go up into the sky.
Yeah,
but like how?
You go to a rocket ship.
How?
You just go to a rocket ship and it takes you to the sky.
Space
or
elevator?
one of the giant fucking cannons that has been in every Mario Kart game. It just shoots you into the sky
to get to that Rainbow Road starting spot, and you're like airplanes. I haven't thought to look that up at all. Maybe someone has like played that, but like I'm very curious
or
how
it
that's
just
gonna work.
so you just get to a point and it creates a rainbow bridge and you drive on that bridge up into the sky and it just becomes the course. I wonder if there was anything in here because they show like some of the route stuff you can do.
Yeah.
So like
the map.
Do you think it's gonna be all like like they're gonna have classic maps in there?
Maybe
do you think it's going to be all kind of new stuff?
I think it's going to be mostly new stuff and maybe some revamping of classic stuff.
Yeah, like maybe like, you know, almost every Mario Kart has like Mario Circuit or something.
Yeah.
Maybe they have a Mario Circuit in this one, but it's like just different, you know?
We might get DLC that introduces those kart tracks you can play in just Grand Prix mode.
Yeah.
It's like I'm looking like, does that look like Shy Guy Beach over there? Or
where are you looking at?
On the right. The little islands of sand.
Oh, right here?
Yeah.
Could be. Very much could be.
Yeah.
Let's see. Shy Guy Bazaar, Desert Hills. Yeah, Wario Stadium. So they're at least doing revamps of that stuff.
Because for stuff like that, it makes sense. It's kind of contained. You just drive to the stadium. Like.
Right. Peach Stadium, Koopa Troopa Beach.
Dang, they don't show all of them. But yeah,
which of course not. If they're going to do a full direct, we'll definitely be getting more information about this next week.
Yeah, that's true.
But
yeah, like another mode, I don't know if, you know, we talked about this yet or if Izzy, you heard, but like it's essentially Battle Royale mode. I call it Battle Royale, but it I haven't heard anybody call it that yet, but that's how I see it, where it's like you start off with 25 people or 24 people or whatever. And then like at one part of the race, it knocks out like the people who are in last, you know, like the last 4 people or whatever. So then it's 20.
Did they talk about it in this one?
Like Fall Guys.
Yeah, I think they do. But like it's pretty brief.
I mean, this trailer specifically, because I know they talk about it in the direct itself. I don't think they mentioned it in this trailer.
Yeah, that was it.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that last segment was about this segment, yeah.
Oh, this segment right here?
Yeah, and then it goes to free roam. Yeah, that current segment. See?
Oh, okay, yeah.
You'll be eliminated. Points along
was
the way.
it Double Dash?
If you're below the placement shown when you hit a checkpoint,
Was it Double Dash that had like an arena mode?
So
I think most of them have,
most Mario Karts have battle mode. Yeah. Where it's like you have balloons over you, like that's one part of it.
Double Dash is probably where it started.
Yeah, it could be, yeah. And then like other ones, it's like collect the most coins or something. Like every Mario Kart kind of has a different twist on it, but I think most Mario Karts probably, since Double Dash has done like the balloon mode, which is like, you know, you fight each other.
I say might have, because funny enough, Double Dash is the Mario Kart I have the least experience in. It's the one I've actually never played Double Dash.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I think to this day, I guess, I don't know. I guess there are good arguments to say which Mario Kart's the best Mario Kart. I think Double Dash had the biggest effect on me when it came to getting
Double
into
Dash,
Mario Kart.
I think, is the most popular Mario Kart.
Yeah, like
At least as like nostalgia goes.
I had Mario Kart 64, obviously,
Same.
but I enjoyed that. But like when Double Dash was a thing, oh my gosh, bruh, that was the game. And I think I don't know. I just think that is minus a little bit of the Wii, because I mean that was its whole thing with the actual driving. It was fun for a while, then it got annoying.
Yeah, that's just I played that with a GameCube controller.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I think to this day, I want to play that again, because I think the only thing that they carried over from that was the fact that you have 2 items. Now, like that was when that was first introduced. You had 2 item slots. And then since then, they essentially kept that going. I don't know if they did that with the Wii Mario Kart.
I believe they did.
Oh,
I think you could hold a second one in the Wii. The 3DS ones maybe not, but I'm fairly certain the Wii Mario Kart Wii you could.
Yeah. But like since Double Dash was a thing, that's when that was introduced.
Yeah.
And Baby Park.
Yep. Yep.
Oh my gosh. Classic
stage.
We'll get into more of that stuff later, though, as there's some more to talk about that.
People talking about the 24-player mode in Baby Park. Baby Park becomes even more chaotic than it already is.
If Baby Park is in here, I don't know.
Right? That's if Baby Park is in here. It was obviously people memeing, but
I mean, if it's not in here and it becomes DLC, I'm buying that shit.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm buying it.
Absolutely.
It's a non-negotiable. You know, I don't care.
I also hope they keep 200cc. They don't really talk about what CC modes they'll have in this.
They don't. They haven't yet, at least.
Yeah, like I'm hoping.
As of recording this, they haven't.
Someone, I think it was Austin John, he noticed that there are less carts, more cars now. At least in their designs.
Oh, okay.
Like that's, he didn't make any connection there. I'm only sort of drawing a connection between that, but like it's only watching through this again that I noticed they don't really talk about the CC levels. So
I feel like they'd have to, like the world's bigger, you want more speeds.
Right. But they could do that more as a CC. Because like when we were first watching this, I was like, this feels like Mario Need for Speed.
Yeah.
Like their Need for Speed. Like it's open world now when you're driving to like the courses, not being
too.
Right. Yeah. And if you're driving to it, which would be sick, like what if the speed mechanics are just different, and instead of, I'm gonna lean towards I think we're still gonna get CC, and I probably just didn't need it to announce it. Or once again, in next week we'll probably get more information. We'll see. We'll see. Mario Kart World. I don't think there's a negative opinion about it out there.
No, yeah,
I'm sure there is, but
it looks fire.
It
honestly,
looks absolutely amazing.
I'm excited for it. Everybody I've talked to is excited about it.
Like I can't wait for that. Another game that was very interesting. We talked about it a little bit, but Drag Drive is interesting. I don't know if I'm going to get it, but it does look interesting.
Like this is like part of what I don't know if this is I don't think this is a packing game, right?
I doubt it.
But it's like, it's stuff like this where I'm like, this would be a cool kind of pack-in game.
This would be.
Like to help us learn the mouse control, right?
Right. Like it feels like it could be the Switch Sports, but it's only one experience.
You know what it's giving, actually, and I'm realizing this right now too.
What's that?
It's giving Mario Strikers Charged.
Yeah, a little bit. It might be built off top of that. Not like engine wise, but just concept.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is like the tone, the style a little bit.
Right.
And I'm thinking of specifically that like one or two courts or fields in Mario Strikers where it's kind of like this vibe.
The urban kind of.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I miss that game.
Yeah.
They have Battle League on the Switch. It's just not the same. It's not Mario Battle League. It's
Summer 2025, definitely not a pack-in game.
No.
Or built in.
But it does look cool though.
It does look very cool, and it's a really cool nod to the
Kirby Air Riders.
Damn it, you weren't supposed to see that
God
yet.
damn it.
You didn't see when we put it up there, but yeah, no, we're gonna get to that one too.
You needed to see that when we saw it live at the very end.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. That's funny though. But yeah, no, this looks like kind of like a fun
Yeah.
extra game that again I do wish it was like packed in.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe this is just me. I don't see it selling that well.
No.
But
Depends on how much it is. It very much depends
Yeah.
on how much it is and if it can get a good community behind it, but I'm also gonna say probably not. It'll definitely be a novelty that some people get. The fact they say summer 2025 tells me that it's not going to be available day one, and the fact that it won't be available day one probably means it's going to be dead on arrival.
mm-hmm.
Like, I just don't see. It's like Ninjala. That's what I was thinking. of.
Ninjala, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, Ninjala or some of those other like cool competitive sport-ish online games. It's like, if you're not gonna put it out with the thing on day one, you're probably gonna. You're not gonna give it a good window
Mhm.
to get a footing in, because I see no reason why I'm gonna play that over Mario Kart.
Yeah.
I get the whole mouse thing. I already find the mice to be too gimmicky, and I have not. As cool as this looks, and as much as I appreciate it, like as a nod to the disabled community, it's not drawing me enough to want to really get it.
Mhm.
I would say.
I like the direction though.
I do like the direction.
I like the fact that was thought of.
As once again, I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's something that really grows and flourishes. I think that'd be amazing. But I would need to see more about it to decide, or at least see a price point. It really depends. It really depends on a lot of that. Next up is we're gonna get the GameCube Classic. Finally,
Yeah.
Everybody's been wondering when this was coming out.
The moment the GameCube cube dropped down like that, I was like, ooh, my childhood, bro.
Yep.
And this came with way more questions than answers.
Yeah.
Like, the games that it shows that it's coming with is like, okay, we get it. Yeah, that makes sense. Sure, right? Like, dope. I would love to replay this.
I prefer the HD version. I hope we get like a HD fix compared to that, but that's just me.
Well, I guess the question is this the HD? But I guess it's not.
That's the thing, right? Like, if are they going to give us the GameCube edition, or are they going to do some upgrades to it to give us the same QOL that the HD version gave us? Because that's really the only difference between the GameCube version and the HD version on the Wii U, is that the Wii U version got a lot of quality of life updates to it that made it a whole lot better. Not that the original one was bad or anything. It's just like the hunt for the Triforce pieces got significantly reduced in the HD version. The inclusion of the Swift Sail was very nice in the HD version. That's all I'm curious about. Like, is like, are we gonna get that, or am I just gonna, if I ever want to play Wind Waker, I'm just gonna dust off my Wii U again?
Right. And that's fair for sure. But yeah, this was hype. This was a hype moment.
I've not thought about Soul Calibur.
Right when this popped up, I was like, "Holy shit!" Forgot about Soul Calibur.
Did you ever play this one?
I never played Soul Calibur. No,
I had it.
And they have the Link model.
Yeah, a lot of people were popping off. Like, "Oh my gosh, this is the one with the Link." This is the one with the Link.
It makes me curious. I wonder if PlayStation's going to get a Soul Calibur 2 and get the Darth Vader. I remember saying this on phone with you, Kent, and I was like, don't give us an F-Zero if you're not going to give us an F-Zero game on the Switch 2. Just don't do that to yourselves.
Yeah.
People want F-Zero so bad that you're just twisting the knife by giving us the classic F-Zero.
That's true.
Even though we are getting that one F-Zero-like game, it's called Gravity Rush or something like that.
Enjoy these classic games with clearer image quality and higher resolution than the original releases. You can also check the controls for each title and customize
Pretty standard
them
stuff for
to
the
your liking.
online classics.
And then they show this reel.
Yeah, Fire Emblem, Pokemon,
Maybe
Gale of
Strikers.
Darkness.
I will maybe get that just to play Strikers again.
That's fair.
Which is nice. That was fun.
Luigi's Mansion.
Luigi's Mansion.
On a modern console now.
And you know what I didn't see there?
What's that?
That I need to see there in order for this to be an absolute, I'm nabbing this.
Mm-hmm.
I need to see Smash Bros. Melee.
Fair.
I need to see Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
People were asking about that in the chat.
Yes.
The live chat.
Yes.
Like,
And
are we going to get Adventure 2 Battle?
yes, I would die. Okay.
Personally,
And then Mario Kart Double Dash, obviously. Which
Mario
is what we
Kart
talked
Double
about.
Dash is one I could see. Personally, I don't know if I care that much about Sonic Adventure 2 Battles being on the Classic Collection because I have no reason to get it over the PC version.
I guess
I
I
would
didn't think
much
about a
rather-
PC version.
Because the PC version already exists for Sonic
Interesting.
Adventure 2 Battles.
Okay.
It would be dope if it did come out because it is a GameCube classic game, but I don't know for me personally if that's enough. Like, it wouldn't be the thing that sways me to get it if I didn't already have it, right?
That's fair. And I saw someone else on social media somewhere also say one thing that they could do that would also be acceptable is if maybe they didn't release just like, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle or whatever as a solo thing, but maybe if they released like a Sega pack.
That would be sick because they could
That
do another
included-
Sega collection.
Yeah, that included Sonic Adventure 2 and a shitload of other Sega/Sonic titles.
I mean, that's a thing they had on the GameCube was the Sonic Gem collection.
Yeah.
They
They basically just did that
Yeah.
for the Switch
That
and make
could
it like
be-
an online.
That I would
thing.
like. That I would very much like, even though I do already have it for Steam. Like, I would get that again for the Switch because it would just be fun to play that on the go in places, right?
Right.
Melee, as dope as I think that would be, and I think a lot of people think it would be,
You don't think they're going to do it?
I think Nintendo would avoid the absolute fuck out of the Melee games on the classics.
Why?
They've been kind of distancing themselves from Melee. And it's not really in an official capacity, but in the Melee community, Nintendo really tries to not spotlight Melee when they can. Mostly because that community is a little sweaty and toxic.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if they're willing to stir up that hornet's nest by even deigning to put it on the classic. Because then you have to go. Because are there any classic games where you can play multiplayer online? I think there are.
Yeah. I don't know multiplayer online.
Right.
I know like couch co-op.
Okay, you can still do couch co-op.
Yeah, I don't know online multiplayer though. That's a good
Okay.
question. I
Even-
feel like you could.
I feel like there might be games that take advantage of that, but I'm not certain.
Yeah. There are.
Okay.
I think so. I think they even maybe showed it off in in one of the treehouse
Okay.
things. Maybe I don't know. It's a little fuzzy.
It
I feel like
could-
they could.
It
have.
could be a thing.
But
Part of me thinks Nintendo might be avoiding the fuck out of Melee.
I can understand.
But I can also see them doing it because it's not like they're putting, unless they do put out, if they put out a new Smash, which personally I'm not seeing them doing, but it's a possibility. I can't say that they don't or they won't.
Maybe that's why we didn't see anything, because they don't want people to either get their hopes up or get their hopes down. Because
what they could do, and here's what I'm going to concede.
Yeah.
What they could do, and the reason we don't see it in the Classic Collection is because they release a Melee remastered. Or a Melee HD, whatever the fuck they want to call it for the Switch. Melee, I think Deluxe is what they call the Switch stuff. If they released a Melee Deluxe with all the online code bullshit, even though the Melee people will still be upset if it's not rollback code.
That would be interesting.
Like, that's a possibility.
And like with all the Melee characters without, or like adding all,
Anything's a possibility.
that would be very interesting.
Anything could be possible. I could see them doing it where it's just the Melee experience, but made HD and Deluxe with some other stuff to it.
Yeah.
But
I guess I'm just coming from another place I'm coming from too is just like Melee's like one of their most sold games for that game, for that system.
Right.
So it's like
It'd be crazy to not have it in the classic.
that's part of where I'm coming from with it as well. But again, like you said, I think if the only reason they're not showing anything Smash is maybe they are going to announce something.
Right.
Maybe not a whole new Smash game, maybe a remaster. It could be something bigger than just and here's Melee.
And now here's Melee in the classic. But at the same time, we didn't see Harvest Moon. We didn't see Animal Crossing. There's a lot of other stuff that we have not seen yet.
That would be kind of fun to play the GameCube Animal Crossing.
Yeah. Like now that I'm 20 some odd years past it, and my first Animal Crossing was on the Switch. I kind of want to try what the GameCube one was like and see what that's like. Yeah, like it's looking pretty good. I mean, shit looked good for the Nintendo 64 and the Game Boy Advance classics. Not enough for me to care enough about getting them.
Right.
You have to have online to get the GameCube controller?
It
says
I don't think so.
It says right there, available for Nintendo Switch Online members, Nintendo GameCube controller.
Will also be released. It can connect wirelessly and
I
also has
wonder
a C
if
button to quickly
this is the same thing of like
pre-order.
Yeah. If this is just a way to cut down on scalping. And this is kind of how they are kind of tying that in. Like, I wonder if that's what it means.
Maybe, yeah.
Because, like, it wouldn't make sense to tie this physical controller to
online services.
Yeah.
Well, I just think it just means you have to have online to buy it.
That's what it. Yeah, that's what it reads like. That wouldn't make any sense.
Launches the same day as the hardware's release. And a dedicated controller designed after the original GameCube controller
that's weird.
will also be released. It can connect wirelessly.
I just want to appreciate though the fact that it's like it's freaking 2025 and we're still talking about people liking the GameCube controller
Okay,
more than other controllers.
It's the peak controller design. Let's be fucking real here. I think it is based on because it's available on the My Nintendo store. So I think it's going to be checking if you have a Switch online so that you can't scout.
Yeah.
I think that's all it's really doing.
Because the scalpers want to buy them.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah,
these things
yeah,
are going to be
yeah.
like 90, if not $100.
And they're going to be flying off
On
the
day
shelves actively.
People actively scalping these are going to be going. You're going to be seeing these for like $1,000 online and some shit.
Really?
I'm fairly certain.
It's going to to be ridiculous.
It's going to
honestly.
be ridiculous value, especially because it's going to be quote unquote difficult to get.
Yeah.
Like anyone who's going to be willing to resell theirs as a collector's item, they're going to be selling these at a hell of a markup.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wonder, like, it looks like they're using like the same plastic and everything. Like,
It does look like it's the same.
like
It could even be upgraded.
Which I mean, some of them GameCube controllers are still going.
yeah.
Like I can see it. I'm curious how people feel about it being a wireless controller. Like, is the connectivity going to be great, or can you connect it by wire too? Because if you can, then it doesn't matter.
I think you can. I think in a lot of the showrooms where they were showing it off, they had it wired,
Okay.
so that it would eliminate people trying to take them.
I mean, fair.
But like they basically had it connected, so there is a
Nice.
way to connect them.
are the shoulder buttons gonna be big and springy and make that clinking noise?
Oh,
when you
they
buy it?
better.
I hope so.
Oh, they better.
Did the Switch Nintendo GameCube controller? I think it did. I think it had analog switches.
I know a lot of third party, made GameCube controllers for it.
I don't think
but
there was an official one.
I
There
don't
was
know
an
if there
official one.
was.
Yeah.
Was there?
When Ultimate came out,
Oh,
they put an
Really?
official one out. Yeah, y'all don't remember that?
mm-mm.
Now was it like specifically like Switch GameCube, like made for this, or was it just like a game, like a themed GameCube controller?
Huh? No, it was put out specifically for it was a GameCube controller that you used with the GameCube connection thing, but it was an official controller made by Nintendo to commemorate Super Smash Bros. Because that's what everybody loved to fight with.
But you would still have to plug it into an adapter.
You would have to plug it into the adapter because it had an actual
GameCube
adapter to it.
Right. So then no, there hasn't really been like an official like GameCube controller redesign for the Switch.
No, I guess 10. If I'm understanding what you're asking, no. Like there's not one that like this is the first one that can be connected wirelessly or plugged in via USB.
Yeah.
The other one was essentially the GameCube controller being re-released for Smash Bros. Ultimate. But yeah, that one I don't remember I want to say I remember hearing people like kind of complain that the shoulder buttons didn't have the same feedback.
Damn.
But I don't remember. I legit do not remember.
I guess my fear too, like to your point, is like, you know, modern day, they tend to make things cheaper and the material typically tends to be cheaper because of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's the same for like controllers.
I'll be honest.
Or like,
I'm sweaty enough during the day. I'm not sweaty enough to give a fuck how 1-to-1 this controller is going to be to the original GameCube controller.
It better be as clunky as I remember. That's all I gotta say.
Here's to hoping. Minute 46. Yeah, this is kind of one for me. Koei Tecmo.
AAA game studio.
Mm-hmm.
When the Zonai, who descended from the heavens, joined hands with the Hylians, who dwelled on the surface.
I was about this point in the trailer. I was still half and half of, are we about to get a DLC for Tears of the Kingdom, or are we about to get a new Hyrule Warriors game?
Nope, it's the HD remake.
That would be really funny though.
Nintendo Switch 2 version.
Future generations would call.
Would you have? Is there one that you would have liked more? Like, are you happy that this is what this is, or would you have liked more a DLC for?
Personally, I probably would have preferred a DLC, but I'm not upset with it being this either. Like,
Hyrule Castle?
And this takes place before Tears of the Kingdom, essentially in the timeline. Is that what that meant?
Not before Tears of the Kingdom. This is basically Zelda's quest in Tears of the Kingdom. Essentially. So in a very technical way, yes, it does, because it's taking place thousands of years in the past to where the Tears of the Kingdom story is happening, but it's taking place within the events of what happens to Zelda in that game.
Okay.
So like in Tears of the Kingdom, you play as Link. This is your chance to play as Zelda and the Zonai people that you met in her memories.
Okay. Happening at the same time.
Essentially happening concurrent to that Age of Imprisonment.
So this is kind of like what was the other?
Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah.
So there's so there was the original Hyrule Warriors back on the Wii U. Yes, back on the Wii U, there was the original Hyrule Warriors, which is a Dynasty Warriors X Zelda, essentially what it is.
Wasn't it
It's Koei Tecmo.
Dynasty? Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, did they do this one too?
Yeah, the whole thing was at the beginning of the trailer. I know you were writing stuff. I said it out loud. Yeah, it's Koei Tecmo.
Oh, okay.
This AAA game studio, is that just like
that is I think that's who's helping them. I think that's someone got really lucky on a name.
That's kind of crazy because they're using the Breath of the Wild, I guess technically, but the Tears of the Kingdom like world and game engine shaders. Like
it looked like it. Yeah. Well, because this is the second one. So, okay, there's 3 Hyrule Warriors games. There's the first one that came out on the Wii U, which was its own completely disconnected storyline. I say disconnected. It kind of merged all the storylines into one kind of deal, but it was one that was not connected to any other Zelda game, other than it just being a Zelda game. The next one after that was Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, which was a prequel to Breath of the Wild.
Not a happening at the same time thing.
Not a happening at the same time thing. So Breath of the Wild happened, and then we got Age of Calamity that happened that served as a prequel to Breath of the Wild and a intermediate release step for Breath of the Wild to Tears of the Kingdom. So it came out before Tears of the Kingdom. Now, I really enjoyed the original Hyrule Warriors. Age of Calamity was okay. For some reason, I just didn't get into it as much as I did Hyrule Warriors. Now, I don't know if it's because I just didn't like the gameplay as much, and some of the sections I didn't really like because you got to play as there was sections where you got to play as the big mecha beasts from the first Breath of the Wild, the divine beasts, and you got to do those. And so you went through these like big, almost like cinematic set pieces and just destroying shit as you go, which was like cool, but didn't really feel that fun to me. And I think there was probably some other games that were coming out that I just lost focus and just stopped playing. Like I have Age of Calamity. I maybe have gotten like 10% into it and just kind of fell off of it. So this one, Age of Imprisonment, seems like a direct sequel. A direct sequel. Like it seems like a very close sibling to Age of Calamity. And so it looks interesting. And I'm probably going to get it, but I can't say I'm super excited about it either. Because if it plays and it kind of draws off of Age of Calamity, it's probably going to be just that thing of just, I didn't feel strongly enough about Age of Calamity to be super excited about this one if we're going to get more of that.
That's fair.
Like I said, if I'm in a position to, I'll probably just get it and try it. But as of right now, I don't feel super strong about it.
If they had like a demo, you'd like try it out.
I would love to get a demo of it and try it out. Under which they probably will. I want to say Age of Calamity had a demo. So I'm hoping so. Even if it didn't, I hope this one has one. And I don't recall, I didn't really look into like the reception of Age of Calamity. I'm sure it did fine. But I don't know anybody else's like particular opinions about Age of Calamity. I'm curious if this is the last time we're getting a Hyrule Warriors, or if they're going to continue the Hyrule Warriors series. But I guess it's also going to depend on what the Age of the Wild series.
Of the Wild series, yeah. If they come out with another, yeah.
Because I know they mentioned that this style of Zelda game is going to be the thing going forward for at least a while. Whether or not it's going to be set in the same series as Age of the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and the next one is the same deal, I don't know. I don't know how much more story they can tell out of this world, but we'll see. So Age of Imprisonment, I said I wanted to talk about this one mostly because it's weird how on the fence I am about it.
Yeah, no, I mean,
it's the interesting thing to me about it is that I don't find a lot of interest in it.
That's fair. And I mean, while we were reacting live too, I also kind of got that vibe where I was like, oh, okay. And then you were like, oh, yeah. And I was like, all right.
It's going to be nice if they, because there's a lot of things about a lot of the characters we find out about from the past that we don't get to learn a lot about. So if this is going to be an opportunity for us to learn more about them, that'll be interesting.
Like like some more insight into the lore.
A lot more lore because there's like the original champions that we only know that they exist. We never got to actually learn about. Like we don't even know their fucking names yet. That'll be dope if we get to learn more about the founding of Hyrule by the Zonai and Rauru and original Lady Sonia, and get to hear more about that. That will be interesting. But from a gameplay perspective, I'm just like, if it's more of the Age of Calamity stuff, it might just be unfortunate. It could also just be bad timing. It could have just, Age of Calamity might have just been bad timing. And this one, I just hop in and I'm like, goddamn. And then I go back to Age of Calamity and I fucking love it. Who knows? That's kind of what I'm hoping it becomes. But as of right now, I'm like, maybe I'll get it. Maybe.
When Age of Calamity Switch 2 edition.
I think it's Switch 2 only.
No, well, no, like
Switch 2 edition?
Well, this one is, but like Age of Calamity. Like,
oh yeah.
Like if they had a Switch 2 version for that one.
I don't think I'd be willing to double dip. I'll just play the Switch version I already got.
Yeah, fair enough.
Now on to one I was excited about.
Yeah.
Which there was a hot second I thought this was I thought this was Resident Evil because that looks like
That's what I was thinking.
Leon, doesn't it?
Yeah. And then you also thought at some point in the middle of this that it was like Bloodborne.
Yeah.
That was my second.
I give you my blood.
Vampires.
I give you my life. Turn, O wheel, and transport him to a night of moonlight,
That's a
to
bug.
humanity's very dusk.
So you want to know why it felt like Bloodborne?
Because it's from FromSoft. Dang. Wait, is it? No, it's not. Oh, wow. Diesel Punk.
Mm-hmm. It's looking real Bloodborne-y right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was like, no, we're not getting Bloodborne, are we? Okay, no, that's Bloodborne proportions. And then I was like, this is Bloodborne. I don't know this character. Then I was like, oh, wait, is this Bloodborne? Because I've never seen nothing like that.
It's not, though.
And then fucking Yoko Taro face in the moon.
Majora's Mask.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, this is definitely Bloodborne. Are we getting a Bloodborne 2 on a Switch? Look at the titties on that thing.
Close your eyes and contemplate now the moon, as befits the soon to depart.
I pray that you are able, carrier of blood.
This threw me off. It's also really goofy, but kind of cool.
The moon tears will flow for one.
Sir, you forgot to put your clothes on.
One alone.
It's not Bloodborne. It's the Dusk Bloods.
And it is a Switch 2 exclusive.
Switch 2 exclusive.
From Software,
Yep.
which
2026.
everybody was freaking out about.
Yeah. So we got not Bloodborne 2. It's the Dusk Bloods.
I mean, we say that, but it's like, maybe this is like...
No, what I'm saying is it's not Bloodborne 2 because it legally can't be Bloodborne 2. It legally can't. There's a reason we never got Bloodborne on the PC like the rest of the Dark Souls games.
Fair.
It legally cannot be Bloodborne 2.
Just
But
I believe Sony
Does
has
Sony
exclusivity
own
on
it?
that. Yeah.
yeah.
But technically,
But if we're all being real, it's Bloodborne 2 and it looks dope as shit.
what are some of the comments?
Like, I can't read none of this for shit.
Please don't let the next Bloodborne be a PlayStation exclusive. The monkey's
The
paw
monkey's paw
curls.
curl. I remember reading this one when this first came up. This one was really funny.
We are much closer to
Bloodborne card than you think. I still can't believe someone convinced Sony to spend $500 million on Concord, but not Bloodborne 2 or this.
Yeah.
FromSoft putting the moon from Majora's Mask and Yoshi into one game is crazy. FromSoft Gothic Steampunk Souls with vampires sounds sick. It's exclusive to what? Oh man. What does it say? Miyazaki, we need a new new IP, the ever reliable console exclusive with the gothic setting. Nintendo, yeah, we'll have my well, I'll have my own Bloodborne with Blackjack and Mario. Yeah, no, fucking, it's Bloodborne. It's just Bloodborne. It's fucking Bloodborne. Everyone knows it. It's fucking Bloodborne, but you can't call it Bloodborne. Which, funny enough, from what I gather, I guess Maximilian Dude bet one of his friends that I'm assuming they bet that we'll get Bloodborne on the Switch. And Max said we wouldn't, because I was watching his reaction to it, and people in the comments were like, Max just dodged a $50,000 bullet, because I guess he bet 50,000 that we wouldn't get Bloodborne, only to see the most Bloodborne thing showing up on the Switch, and then getting absolute lucky that it's not called Bloodborne.
Yeah.
So, oh my goodness, this was wild to see. I'm very excited for it. Bloodborne is the reason I bought a PS4.
Really?
Yeah, I do. Like the rest of the Souls game, I might get Elden Ring at some point, but the rest of the Souls games, they look interesting. Like I like the concept of them, but they play very slow to me. Bloodborne is much more slash and parry than block and dodge, like the rest of the Souls games are. And that always is like that slightly faster gameplay has always appealed to me. So now seeing us get one of these on the Switch and on this console, and just something that isn't just a PlayStation, is kind of nice. That dude's wearing long johns. So I'm excited for that. I'm very excited for the Dusk Bloods.
Yeah, I'm not as familiar with that, style per se, or the series, Bloodborne much at all. But it is cool to kind of see everybody else's reaction to this, and how everybody's just kind of like, wait, it's exclusive to the Switch too?
Huh?
After, having that not be the case from that company.
But it feels like Bayonetta all over again.
Yeah.
Because that's basically what happened with Bayonetta 2. Is Bayonetta happens on Xbox and PlayStation. Super stupid popular. Whatever reason, PlayStation and Xbox both just PlayStation and Microsoft, Sony and Microsoft both basically refused to give Platinum the money to make another Bayonetta. Like, wildly popular, wildly successful game, Bayonetta cannot get funding from the two companies that it did wildly great for. Go to Nintendo. Nintendo's like, we'll let you make it as long as you make it exclusive for the Wii U. Bayonetta 2 exclusive to the Wii U. Everybody's pissed. Like, everybody who's played Bayonetta is pissed, and it's like, well, guess what? You wouldn't get it otherwise, because your fucking companies refuse to pay for it. Despite it doing extremely well, they refuse to pay for a second one. Nintendo stepped the fuck in, and we got Bayonetta 2, and then Bayonetta 3, which wasn't great.
I'll do it myself.
Pretty much, right? As well as like a side game, Cereza's Story is like,
and she's in Smash.
Did 2 do okay?
2 did pretty good.
Yeah.
2 did pretty okay. Despite it being on the Wii U, it did get they did get re-released on the Switch, which I think did way better for it. When Bayonetta 3 came out, Bayonetta 3 didn't do great. From what I heard, it was pretty lackluster for a lot of people. Cereza's Story, I actually don't know how that one did. I remember I played the demo and it was pretty good. I had a lot of fun with it because it's a departure from the usual style. It's much more storybook, puzzle adventure, than hack and slash style fighter. I think that did pretty okay, but I think we're probably done with the series at this point. But maybe it could just Bayonetta 4 could happen. But I want to say I have Bayonetta 3. I have not played it. I have not had a chance to actually sit down and play it yet.
I think it would be interesting for them to do a Bayonetta 4 on the Switch too, because of all the interesting, effects they could probably pull off with the upgraded technology.
The other reason I think we won't is because I'm fairly certain the Bayonetta 3 wraps up the story in a pretty conclusive way.
But yeah, if that happened, then maybe they will.
Though they're given Bayonetta's anatomy and like her age, there's a lot of stories you can still tell Like if you want to do a lot of prequel stories that still are in that same vein, Bayonetta is a witch that's been alive for a couple hundred years, fighting demons and angels. There's a lot of span of story you can tell in that. So it's possible, but
Which didn't they actually do kind of like a prequel thing for Bayonetta?
It's Soreza's story.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's from her being a child though, when she was first learning how to be a witch.
Oh, I see.
And doing that. So like between that and the first Bayonetta game, there's a whole lot you can probably explore in there if they absolutely want to go about it that way. But the way it's conclusive as it was, more than likely they're probably done with it. Like it probably got shelved pretty hard, but I haven't played it yet. I have to play it before I can really say that definitively.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, the Dustbloods. So it seems like it's that situation all over again of FromSoft probably couldn't get Sony to pay for Bloodborne 2, if I had to guess. Or maybe they will. And this was just Nintendo. Maybe Nintendo just threw a fuck ton of money at FromSoft and was like, please give us something.
Give us something good
that nobody else can have so we can stop getting shit on for being the worst version of whatever the game is going to be. But yeah, I'm really excited for that. That is definitely going to be one that I pick up probably day one when it comes out. It's coming out 2026. So we don't have an exact date, but it'll be sometime next year.
Yeah.
The second to last game that they announced, and another one
this is crazy.
Really excited about.
Yeah, this one was crazy. And I remember us rattling off what we thought this was.
Yeah.
In our live reaction call.
Right. I didn't even notice that was a banana over there. If I had noticed that was a banana, I would have caught it much faster. I thought we were getting the Odyssey 2 for a hot sec.
I saw the monkeys and I was like, I think I know what this is. And then I saw that and I was like, yeah, okay.
Right. Yep. We get it. You're strong, motherfucker.
He's back. And good thing too. And people went crazy.
Yeah.
Because apparently there hasn't been a 3D Donkey Kong in a while.
No, there hasn't. Well, there hasn't been a 3D Donkey Kong since the 64.
Yeah, you're having the same reaction we did when we saw all this happen, right?
Yeah. It looks like a fully destructible landscape.
Yeah.
They're using a really cool destruction system.
Like the third person, like inside out the cave thing was pretty sweet.
That was sick. I 100% think this is built in the Odyssey engine. It looks so much like Mario Odyssey.
Look a lot like Odyssey.
You caught this while we were watching it live. They're using the Mario movie design for Donkey Kong.
Yep.
I'm not super happy with that. I actually don't like that design as much as a regular Donkey Kong. I find it a little over goofy.
Yeah, like, I don't know. In the movie, I felt the same way when watching the movie. I was like, I don't know if I like it. I think it makes a lot more sense in a game scenario. And the different faces that you see that they make for him, you know, I don't know. I'm willing to forgive it because it does look fun. First of all, fun game.
Yeah.
And the just the amount of character they give him because of the way his face looks is charming enough for me to forgive it. And I think it's just going to take me a little time to get used to it because I've just grown so used to old DK.
I'm sure for me, it's just a matter of preference. Yeah. I'm just going to prefer the old one. I doubt this is going to be a problem when playing the game. It's so much so it doesn't even factor into whether I'm going to get the game or not, even a little bit.
Oh yeah, this is going to be one of the first games I get, if not like
right.
Is
like
Seth Rogen doing his voice?
It would be really fucking funny if it was. It could be, but I'm not like it doesn't bother me enough to care. It's weird. I didn't really clock that he's wearing overalls this whole time.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think in the beginning, because they did a treehouse show off, and they showed like the very beginning of this game, and yeah, he was wearing overalls at the beginning, and then there's a cutscene that happens, and they get like come off.
Oh, do they? Okay.
Yeah, so he is missing them for like a small portion of the game.
I was gonna say, they don't want you looking up a fucking gorilla's ass the whole game,
right? I think they saw all the Donkey Kong butt memes and were like, like,
none of that.
The 1 minute thing. He's like sitting down with his ass like out. He's like 1 minute. they're like, yeah, we need to nip this in the bud as soon as we can.
Nintendo, someday y'all are gonna learn that that's just not how that works. People are gonna take what they want to fucking take.
Botters,
right? But yeah, no, this looks insane. Like, this looks like so much fun.
Watching them kind of talk about it and do the walkthrough a little bit with the treehouse thing that I was watching the day after the direct. I had questions about like just how much is destructible, right?
Yeah.
Like, how much of the world actually is destructible, and like, are there clues that tell you what's destructible, and like if stuff is behind things. And like when they showed it off, it's just like, oh yeah, pretty much everything is.
Yeah.
And you won't know. Like, you just won't know.
Well, I mean,
you have to destroy stuff to find out what's
that's
there.
Fair. I mean, it feels kind of like the Tears of the Kingdom approach to it, of everything can be used in the new system. Just about everything can be fused to something else.
Everything is like climbable.
Yeah, everything is climbable. Every surface is climbable. Every surface most surfaces, as long as they follow the generic rule of like being metal or being breakable, like as long as it's terrain, you will probably be able to break it, or anything that kind of works like that. So yeah, it'll be fun if they continue that kind of philosophy of like, if we say everything can be do the thing, then everything's going to be do the thing.
Right.
And that'll be really stinking fun.
And like the people, like some of the creators who were doing the whole showroom floor show off or whatever, were saying how some of the employees watching people play the game, like all day, they thought they knew where stuff was. Like, they were like, people coming to play the game were finding things that not even the employees knew about.
Jesus.
Just because like, and at one point, one of the creators told their assistants, like, okay, stop moving, punch down right now, wherever you are, just punch down. And he punched down and found like a chest.
Nice.
Like 5 punches into the ground or some shit.
Nice.
Just like random, like didn't know it was there, just, hey, wherever you are, just punch down real quick.
So I wonder if is it sort of like procedurally generated, like Minecraft? I
doubt it's procedurally like Minecraft. There could be some proceduralness where it's like some of the lesser important shit, like the chest he found is probably one of those things that's going to be
just the stuff that's sprinkled around.
Yeah, like maybe the gold ore that seems to kind of be almost procedural everywhere.
Yeah. Bananas might be like hidden. Banana stuff like might be procedural. But yeah, no, this is looking sick. Like, this looks like so much fun.
Yeah.
Not a lot extra to say other than I cannot wait for this.
Yeah.
Because the only 3D Donkey Kong game I know of is Donkey Kong 64.
I think that was like the only 3D Donkey Kong that was referenced whenever there was talk about what was like the last 3D Donkey Kong you remember.
Because every other Donkey Kong since then has been side scroller.
Yeah. But like the thing about the destruction thing too is some people, like at least in the demo show off floor, it's like you could reset all your destruction too with a button in the pause menu. Apparently, maybe that's just a showroom floor thing.
I mean, yeah, it could be, but it also would make sense that they do, because you could absolutely, depending on how they set up story cutscenes and get to places, if it's super open, it's very possible you could destroy yourself out of out of progression by accident and have to reset or restart.
And there's like a mini map where when you pause it or go out to look at the mini map, you see your destruction updates on the 3D mini map that you can just like rotate around, which is really cool.
The fact that's a thing makes me think that everything is destructible.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like that's going to be the main thing about this game is everything can be destroyed.
which even with that knowledge, I'm like, I need to try this out for myself. I need to figure out how this can break. Like, I want to know what the QA was like for this game, right?
Probably insane.
Like, what did they do? Like, what instructions did they give people? Or not instructions, just like, hey, here's a game, do whatever the fuck you want. And then it's like, what do you analyze with that? Like, how do you...
Can you get stuck in the world? Is everything destroyed correctly?
And then
because with Tears of the Kingdom, so the first time, like, we know that Nintendo... Their QA tools, like they had like whole departments creating tools just for doing QA and automating QA processes. And they probably did the same thing with this. But yeah, no, I would love to see like does Nintendo ever do stuff at GDC?
I have not seen a lot of like specific Nintendo show off stuff at GDC specific. At E3 they did a lot, but not GDC.
I would love to see like process breakdowns for stuff like this.
Yeah.
And they'll talk about it in interviews every once in a while. So maybe they'll talk about this one too eventually. But
I definitely have a feeling that this, I feel like they're going to get enough questions about how the fuck they're doing this that they're going to have to do some kind of breakdown at some point. Because like, I don't know. Ever since I've seen this, I'm kind of spinning my brain, like trying to think about like, how did they do this? Like, what tools went behind this? I really want, I've never asked this about any game before, really. Awesome. How was the QA process?
Yeah.
Like, what steps went through, like, okay, try this. Oh, we realized that, you know, this broke the game this way. Okay, well, we have to make sure that it's not too destructible, or maybe it needs to be more destructible to avoid a problem. And then we just let people destroy whatever the fuck they want and have a reset button that fixes all the shit.
Right.
So we don't have to have any problems.
Yeah.
Like I'm very curious.
Oh, as am I. And
it's the game designer's curse.
Right. The only other thing I'm going to say, Game Freak, there's no fucking reason. There's no excuse. There's no fucking excuse.
Like,
there's not a single bit of excuse you can give me.
We thought it looked lackluster before all of these.
Like, you cannot get me to believe you can't do more shit with the Pokemon worlds. You can't get me to believe it even a little bit.
How much do you think they knew of what Nintendo was doing with like the new system, the new games?
So the fun part is, I say that like this is a new thing. It's not.
I don't think they care.
Mario Odyssey was on the Switch.
Yeah.
Mario Odyssey looked good like this.
Oh, yeah, it did.
It ain't got shit to do with Switch 2. I know I said it as if like it's about the Switch 2 and this being on Switch 2 is the thing. It's like, we can see what the consoles you're putting games out on can do. You don't have a fucking excuse, but it's because they don't care. They don't have to care.
It's like, why do more when do less get money?
Less get all money. Donkey Kong don't make the money Pokemon does. Like, fuck, man.
Yeah, they don't make the money Pokemon does, so they have to try hard.
Exactly, right? Like, Jesus fucking Christ. I don't want to hear. I guess it's less to Game Freak and more to people that are like, oh, it's because the Switch is bad. The Switch is bad. The hardware is bad. It's like, no, that's not the reason.
It's not that bad.
And we have to. It's not that bad.
It's all about the effort.
And it has shit all to do with the fact that is because like the only other argument I can see given is because, oh, well, these are Nintendo first party house. Like they work closely. Pokemon is Nintendo first party, if we're being fucking real. It's Nintendo first party. Nintendo ain't letting that shit go fucking nowhere. And you cannot get me to believe that Game Freak does not have the entire power of Nintendo behind it if they wanted it. I just don't. Considering Pokemon Co. is basically the conglomerate of Nintendo creatures and Game Freak all into one big thing. Like quite literally, Pokemon Co. as a company has three arms to it. Nintendo as the publishing arm, Game Freak as the development arm, and Creatures Inc. that is the merchandising arm. Like, Nintendo has as big a stake in Pokemon's success as anything else does. Game Freak has probably, Lord knows how much Nintendo has probably gone, look, you can just ask. We'll throw a couple hundred people at you if you want it.
Mm-hmm. They would be happy to work on it.
We'll probably be happy to work on it. And y'all have full access to like the entire infrastructure of a Switch and a Switch 2 now. Like y'all could fucking work on this shit to the molecular level if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
And they're probably just refusing to do so.
Like, nah, we don't need it.
We don't need to.
We'll get us all the money just by doing this little bit right here. It's okay.
I want to go smack somebody.
What if you want to put? What if you want to put it on mobile someday?
Baby steps.
Money for mobile, bitch. Like, we'll do it. Don't worry about that. Oh, man.
Oh, we'll just port it right away. It'll be run terribly, but hey, people will buy it.
I hate being a Pokemon fan so damn much. Like, I hate how much I enjoy Pokemon. Sometimes, like, just...
It sucks, too, because when you see something like this, you can almost imagine what Pokemon would look like at this caliber.
Pokemon world would look like at this fucking level, and it's so upsetting because I know it's within reach. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no reason we can't get a Pokemon game that looks like this. Mm-hmm. There's literally no reason other than they just don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, God damn it.
And then
there was this. This was like the last secret reveal.
And it was out of the blue because it was like they said all their like thank yous and everything, the bow, and then it's like now this. And
now
we're
the funny thing is, with the Donkey Kong thing, didn't they say that was the last game reveal?
Yeah.
And then they were like,
liars.
Okay, but now here's the last game reveal.
It's the last.
What? What? There was a solid half second we all thought it was Smash.
The chat was popping off.
It was like, popping. No way.
It's like, okay, there's Kirby. So Kirby. And it feels and looks like Smash.
For me, it wasn't so much that it was Kirby. That swipe down, I was waiting for a swipe across.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it.
Fair.
I was like, no. And then it didn't happen, but then we still got Kirby. And I was like,
It's like they showed Kirby at the other previous Smash. He was like the main character.
Yeah, it's Sakurai's baby. Of course it's going to be Kirby.
And so we're like, okay,
hold up.
This looks styled like Smash Ultimate, kind of.
I was like, I didn't say this. I was like, maybe it could be a new Kirby game. I know but I was like, no, Forgotten Lands is getting all its shit. I doubt they'll just put out a new Kirby game right now.
Yeah, you said all of that.
Did I say that out loud?
And then you hinted just before this podcast, like, wait, is this a new Kirby Air Ride?
This happened?
And then that happened, and I was like,
this might be a new Kirby Air Ride.
The moment that popped up, I was like, yeah, you're right. This is Kirby Air Ride.
Oh my fucking God. It's been 20 years.
23 years.
Have you played the original?
I never played the original.
Yeah, I played it.
I just know everyone fucking loved it.
It was great.
Yes.
So, fun fact. I never had a GameCube. One of my oldest brothers, he had a GameCube.
Oh, wow.
Well, we'll get to it. And during the height of GameCube, I never had a GameCube. My oldest brother had one, and he had a few Zelda games for it, and Sonic, both of the adventures were for it. Mm-hmm. He had it, but those are pretty much all we had at the house. I had some friends who had GameCubes, but anytime I'd go play over at their house, we would just play Melee or Mario Kart. Actually, no, not even Mario Kart, because I never played Double Dash. I didn't even know Air Ride existed. Until I was in like either late high school or college. I didn't get my first GameCube until I was 18. And at that point, I only had 3 games for it. I had 4 games for it. I had a Need for Speed game, which was very fun. It was Need for Speed 2, I believe. Yu-Gi-Oh! Kingdom of the Rose or something like that, which was really cool and really fun. Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, and Melee. Those are the 4 games I had for a GameCube. And then right after that, I got a Wii and played that. And I modded that Wii. I could have played Air Ride and just never got around to doing it. And then it wasn't until we were in college that everybody was like, I started hearing the hype for Air Ride and just never had the time to get around to it. So that's why like a lot of stuff like Harvest Moon, Mario Kart Double Dash, I never played. How the fuck did I play Luigi's Mansion? I played that bitch to completion.
I feel they've had so many, like, they put that shit on so many different.
They did. It might have been one of the ones I borrowed on the Wii. That might be how I played it. Same with I tried to play Sunshine. Sunshine did not run well. At least the ISO that I had didn't run super well. But yeah, so that's why there's a lot of these kind of games that I don't have. I never had a chance to really play, because by the time I got a GameCube, I had it for like a year, played like 4 games for it, and then got a Wii and kind of went on about that. And then at that point, I started buying my own consoles and shit, and had money to actually get my own games, and never had a chance to go back and try this kind of stuff.
Yeah, fair.
But yeah. Air Riders.
And, obviously it's like, okay, Sakurai
is
on
director
this.
Masahiro Sakurai. He's coming out of he's had his break. He's had his vacation.
He has his channel, his YouTube
his
channel.
Whole YouTube channel. He had to do the whole thing.
Like one of the last videos that he has on there, he mentioned a secret project, apparently.
Did he?
And he didn't say what it was, just that he's working on some kind of secret project that we might, learn about at a later date. And we now suspect that this is what he was talking about.
Oh, more than likely. More than likely.
Of course, everybody was like, new Smash. But no.
Like, in fucking fairness, though, it was like, that looks like new Smash.
It did.
That looked like another Smash. Like,
I mean, like, when he mentioned that, everybody was like, wait, the secret project?
So talking about a newer top secret project Sakurai teased in this channel series finale.
Right.
I mean, you have to imagine the guy who directed Smash is probably going to make a game that has like influences and art direction that look like Smash. So,
well, yeah. Right. Well, also the guy who directed Smash was also the creator and forerunner for the Kirby series.
Yeah.
So I guess Air Riders was the last one Sakurai directed before he left HAL. I didn't know that.
You say what now?
So when Sakurai left HAL to come work for Nintendo, I guess the last game he worked on was Kirby Air Ride. So he left that to direct, and now he's coming back to direct the sequel. That's sick.
That's nice.
That's actually sick.
Oh, man. So this is very close to his heart. Oh, I'm so excited.
The fact that Sakurai has reached, by the way, he's working on this game level of fame is amazing. Yeah. Sakurai, he has cemented his legacy.
Yes.
Like, Sakurai is on Miyamoto status at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
Mm-hmm.
Easily. Until it works treatment for the star. Kirby really used the hit it until it works treatment on the star. This was crazy to see.
I went back and watched it probably like 5 more times.
Right. It looks so good. Like, I am probably going to play Air Riders. You know what? Fuck it. I might do that this week. Actually, I might stream that. We'll see.
Oh, the original?
Mm-hmm. Don't ask how I'm streaming it. Just know that I'm streaming.
I thought it in my head, but I wasn't going to ask.
No, don't ask how I'm doing it.
With your capture card.
Yeah.
Capture card. Yeah. Because you obviously, still have your GameCube.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, technically that is true. I do still have the GameCube. I could probably just track down Air Riders. But
we'll say that's what you do. Yeah,
that's what I'm doing. I also have a VGA to HDMI converter. I definitely have that. I also have a GameCube controller that just happens to look like a mouse and keyboard or a different controller. And I'll probably play this with a Switch, one of my Hori controllers. But yeah, no, I'm definitely playing this legally as intended Nintendo.
Oh man, I just thought like what the yellow Kirby was riding almost looks like one of the mouthful things.
It does, doesn't it?
Kind of, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like the little van thing. That's from the first game.
Yeah.
Oh, is it from the first game?
Yeah. I think all of these vehicles.
He's referring to mouthful mode from
Forgotten Lands.
I think it's mostly because it's pink. and very boxy.
Yeah, but I also know what you're talking about too. When it comes to like the other vehicles, like I remember, I think like the Una motorcycle, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Yeah, there were like two versions of that in the first one.
Yeah,
and this map is like the first.
I was gonna say it looks like it.
Mm-hmm.
God, this was a fantastic way to cap off the shit.
Direct.
Thank you.
I mean, Donkey Kong was good enough, right?
Oh, Donkey Kong, if they ended there, that would have been enough.
Right. But the fact that they did this, like, oh man, this cemented the hype.
Yeah.
And it's coming out this year, and we still don't really know anything about it. Like,
that's why I side eye anybody that left that direct going, worst direct ever.
Really?
There are people, yeah.
This is like one of the best ones I think I've seen.
This is legit one of the best directs we've seen in a long time. But people are gonna find things to complain about because they didn't get the one specific thing they very much wanted and assumed it was gonna be
Smash.
Oh, they're not making another Smash.
Well,
it doesn't matter how many times we tell them that. Well, people try to play the we don't know thing. I think they're been pretty fucking definitive that they're not doing another Smash.
Yeah.
I think they're done with Smash.
I've given up hope thinking that there is definitely going to be another one. I would like to think that maybe they do something at some point. Maybe like a Switch 2 version of Ultimate, whatever that means.
Sometimes I think we should just be happy that things ended on good notes.
But yeah, I honestly would be fine if they don't do anything else because honestly, ending with Sora and that's like it.
Yeah.
That is.
People need to shut the fuck up about more Smash Bros. Y'all don't understand what that man had to do to get Sora in that fucking game.
Yeah. That was
I mean, it's
an achievement of one of the biggest achievements I think anybody can claim in the history of video games.
Hell, he talks about it himself. He was like, I had to do a lot to get Sora in this game.
I broke my back for you guys.
Yeah. It is like, if y'all don't shut the fuck up about another Smash game for the rest of my life, y'all have gotten all the Smash you need.
I don't know how much better they can get it, honestly.
I don't know what else you can really... I mean, I'm sure... Of course, there's always characters you can add to Smash, like that anybody would love to have.
Pretty much it is characters and maps, and it's like, how many more do you need? Honestly?
How many more do you need
but
for
like,
all of you sweaty bastards to only play on Final Destination versions of those maps?
And that's where it's like the modding, community can take it from there. Right?
Yeah.
There've already been a lot of really cool mods that have come out for Ultimate that I plan to get once I get a Switch 2.
Yeah,
I plan to mod my regular Switch.
When did you get your regular Switch?
Pretty much right after it was announced. Back in like 2017.
So you'll have an
18?
easy time modding that one.
Yeah.
Be very careful. I currently have a Switch upstairs that is, I don't think it's bricked. I think something on the motherboard has gotten a little bit fried. Be very careful. And
because you tried to?
Well, it worked and then it stopped working, and I don't know what caused it to stop working. Like I had it modded for a bit because literally the only reason I was doing it was so I can duplicate saves on my my Pokemon accounts because I don't want to play through Sword and Shield again just to do some shiny hunting. But so I modded it and I didn't really do anything with it. A software update happened at about the time I modded it. This was back in like November, I think. Which I'm kicking myself for waiting so long because I was ready to mod it way back like almost a full year ago before we even moved off the old place. And then I waited, and by the time I got around to modding it, some of the resources were gone. So the tutorial I was following, I had to improvise and do follow some other stuff from other tutorials, as well as there was like a software update that had just like one of the major updates had just happened. So I had to like wait for that update to happen. But in the time of like doing that, like I turned my Switch off, went to go turn it back on and just refused to turn on. And all the troubleshooting methods and all the possibilities just don't seem like was the thing. So I'm at the point now that I need to go through with a multimeter and test all of the connectors and connections and see if anything finally like blew or just corrupted or something. Either I'm going to have to do a lot of like doctor work or my Switch is completely bricked. I'm not certain. So be very careful about that. The problem is I just can't tell you what went wrong. And that's why I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what I did wrong and I don't know what happened, but it is a possibility.
Okay.
So just so you know, so that when you go do it, obviously you're doing the smart thing by waiting to get a new Switch and being able to transfer
Yeah, I want to make sure I
back
get
up all your shit.
Yeah, I'm going to make sure I either back it up on another SD or something, or I, get everything on my Switch 2.
I think most of the games you play anyway are cloud savable, which is the most annoying thing about Pokemon is that you can't. I'm not gonna get into it. But I think you'll be fine for the most part, even if you do end up like killing your Switch. You'll probably end up being fine. But yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, Kirby Air Riders, that was completely out of fucking nowhere. It was. I was very happy coming out of this direct.
Yeah, this was the icing on the already really, really sweet cake. So
the lineup for the Switch, both launch and this summer, like the post launch stuff, is looking like it's going to be a really fucking good lineup. I mentioned that I signed up for the pre-order. The fun thing about that is that right after I signed up for the pre-orders, the tariffs happened. Not to get too political, but those tariffs happened, and Nintendo has basically delayed pre-orders indefinitely now. Mostly because they moved their production over to Vietnam. So Vietnam is producing everything, and so everything is technically Vietnam made. And Vietnam got hit with like 50%, like damn near 50% tariffs.
Yeah.
And so that's thrown pricing and shit into flux. And so that's currently just in a very uncertain state going forward right now. So we don't know when pre-orders will be actually happening. I'm not certain if the pre-order website is still up. I'll probably throw a link up here. I don't remember exactly what the link is. It's like Nintendo.com/Switch2/pre-order or something like that. But you can go check and see if that's still live. That also gives like there's an FAQ at the bottom of that page that tells you like what all the requirements for being able to pre-order a Switch 2, being eligible to pre-order a Switch 2, which like I said, mostly what it's asking for is they just want you to be an actual active player of the Switch. That's all they're looking for. That's pretty much all it is. If you play your Switch online, like actively, or for anything more than 50 hours, and given it's been 8 years, came out 2017.
Yeah.
9 years. We're going on 9 at this point. We're just shy of 9 years.
Crazy.
More than likely you meet the requirements if you have played your Switch, even at a semi-regular basis or semi-frequent basis. It's So check and see if it's available. I don't know if it is or not. But as of right now, the future's kind of up in the air on what's going to happen with that, because I'm willing to pay $500 for the Mario Kart bundle.
Yeah, pricing.
I don't think I'm willing to pay $600 or plus, which by the way, I don't know if y'all just saw this, but China's possibly about to get hit with 104% tariff.
Ooh, I did not see
which
that.
means like things from China are going to be double the usual price, which is really bad. If you
I did not see that.
Shit's made from.
Yeah.
Not getting political.
We're just stating what the facts.
Just saying
what's
a large portion of this country is fucking stupid. But speaking of other pricing shit.
So the Switch has been announced to release a Switch 2 to release at $450.
Yes.
I expected $400.
A lot of people did.
And $450 isn't as crazy to, that extra 50. I'm like, yeah, you know what? It's,
honestly, given inflation and the trend of everything, $450, not the craziest thing for what we're getting with the Switch.
And then they announced a bundle with Mario Kart that will go for $500.
Yes.
Which is like, okay, that's fair.
The games are 80 now standard.
Well, we found out later, and this is another reason why I think it's maybe good that we waited a little bit to talk more about it, because more information was coming out about how much games would cost. They released the price of the Switch too, like that and the bundle, but not how much Mario Kart would cost, Donkey Kong would cost, et cetera, et cetera. So after, these news, sites and people are doing interviews and listening to Nintendo, and Nintendo is coming out and saying things, we find that Mario Kart is going to be releasing in the US for $80. Yes. And that's not for every nation either.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing for the Switch, because apparently in Japan, the Switch is releasing for around like 300.
It is cheaper in Japan. It will be a cheaper console to get in Japan.
But it's region
on Taiwan.
And not to get political, but and it's region locked. So you can't buy it from Japan and bring it over here and try to use your American made Nintendo account. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So that's a thing. But apparently when asked about the pricing for games and what that's going to look like for other Switch 2 games, Nintendo's practiced response is essentially they are doing variable pricing now, where it's like they look at, okay, how much resources went into developing this game? How does it run? Is it up to a certain quality that we deem worthy of a higher price or not?
Mm-hmm.
And then that's how much we're going to charge. Right. And in retro, on paper, that sounds great. But it's like, how often are you going to make that the highest price? Like, are you going to look at all of the games you now release and be like, oh yeah, all of these games meet that standard. So all these games are going to be $80,
Yeah.
And if that's what you're going to do, that kind of sets that standard. It creates that perspective standard for other companies to be like, oh, well, they're doing it.
Yeah.
So we can do it too now too, and maybe even make it higher because our consoles are technically
more powerful
and further ahead than Nintendo Switch 2. So we can make our game $90 and $100. That's, I think, the worry.
I remember Fluff asked me how I felt about it. He was asking me a couple things about the Nintendo Switch 2, but he was asking me about the games, and I was like, personally, I think what we're experiencing is the sting of inevitability. Games have been $60, full price, or max price, at least on launch. Like games, technically speaking, games have actually been more than $60 for a long time because of how many get like DLC that you have to pay for, right? But looking at just the base MSRP, if you go into a store to buy a game, how much will it be? They have been $60 since the 90s.
Which I did not realize until you posted what you posted in that thread. I was like, oh, okay, that's crazy, because $60 now is not $60 then.
Yeah.
Like the
$60
inflation
then is $90 now.
Yeah. Or something around there. But yeah.
Was 60 the standard in the 90s? Not quite. Nintendo was essentially helming the charge of the $60 price tag, and you still had Sega games that were coming out for $20. Granted, Sega and Game Boy stuff was older at that point, and PlayStation games were going for about $40, $50. But this is basically the late 90s, heading into the 2000s is where we saw.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Is where we saw basically the $60 price tag become the standard.
Doom and Turok were $75.
Right. Like, so we have basically had a price standard remain essentially unchanged for damn near 30 years. For nearly 30 fucking years, as everything around us has gone up in price.
Yeah.
Inflation
has been butt fucking us all for a long time. Inflation has essentially groomed us.
Well, especially in the last 4 years.
In the last 4 years, right? But we have seen, so we're looking, am I happy about the step? No, of course not. But am I surprised? And am I going to pretend like Nintendo's the most evil fucking corporation in the world? Because they finally did what basically Sony and Microsoft and other games have been
trying
pretty much wanting to do. Everyone's just been too afraid to be the first one to do it.
and stand by it.
On a publisher console developer level.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen games come out, definitive editions and game of the year editions and like extra editions that were way more than the $6 base price tag. Granted, yeah, they came with like DLC and shit, right? When you start pulling in like games as a service models and the DLC models and the microtransaction models, games have not been just $60 for the full game for a long time. We are seeing the actual value add of a game as what they should be represented now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're just gonna have to get over the sting of it.
Yeah.
I think give this time and a lot of people are just gonna go, this sucks, but this shouldn't be shocking.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I kind of personally stand on it right now.
And that's fair. And I didn't think about all of that until I saw this. And I was like, oh shit. It's been like this for that long?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I do not blame Nintendo for trying to push this new generation of their games a little bit higher into that more expensive tier. Because again, like you mentioned, Sony's been testing it. Yeah. Microsoft's been testing it. Sure, there are a couple of those games that they've released where it's like, $70. It's like, oh, but it's like, that's, I don't know, NBA 2K, that's, what's the other game that was like
FIFA?
Yeah, some of those 2K games, but like sports games, but like there's just other games that like not all of their, like not all the PS5 games are $70, $75, $80.
Yeah.
But like certain games might be, but then you're looking at that and being like, okay, I can see that being $75, $80, right? Looking at this and then looking at just this next generation that we're in right now.
Yeah.
And taking in everything happening in the world, you're like, I can see how things are gonna essentially get more expensive, and you really can't be mad at it. If
I will
it's
say
been
this,
like this,
Mario Kart
years,
64 being the same price as Mario Kart 8 Deluxe
is crazy.
It's crazy
to think about.
It's crazy to think about. When a fucking McChicken was 99 cents at the time.
Yeah.
And is 2 something now. Right?
Like back then, people were technically paying $80-$90 for these. That's what this equivalent is.
When adjusted for inflation, Austin John plays. I've mentioned him a couple times in this episode. He did like the breakdown of like he's the one that made me realize like when you adjust for inflation, we're technically still paying less now than we did for games back in the 90s. Like people are going to complain because we're seeing price go up. And I don't fully blame the people, right? Like I don't blame consumers, because I think what we're seeing here is the very annoying thing that is much bigger than video games, right? It is the thing of being in a system where we can see parts of that system adjust for inflation that we can't do. We as a consumer base cannot adjust for inflation. We can't adjust our wages. Like, and that, I think that's the most upsetting part that people don't realize they're upset about, is it makes sense that they're going to raise the price of a game. But what sucks is that we don't get that luxury to do. So
you don't get a 50% raise over 4 years.
Just because I say that I need to, because inflation has gone up.
Yeah.
We can fight for it. I could absolutely like make a case to my boss or anything, but that's one person that might be able to get a raise in a corporation of how many, and a workforce of how fucking many millions across the world of however many billions, right? Like we as consumers don't have the ability to just agree to, we all get a price raise of this much to match inflation. If we did, we wouldn't be in half the shit, like half the fucking complaints we have now. Right? So yeah, it hurts. Like, don't get me wrong. It fucking sucks. Like the last thing I need right now in my life is to be paying more for video games, for any individual video game, but I can't act shocked about it either.
Yeah. And I keep looking at that thing, and it's like, yeah, back then we didn't have to worry about how much it cost. We just told our parents what we wanted. They gave it to us.
Right.
We didn't care. It was just like, this could be $5 for all we knew about money.
Right.
We just wanted it. Our parents either got it to us or like, Christmas, birthday, you get to sprinkle here, sprinkle there, maybe. But it's like looking at this now, I'm like, oh wow, I can see how like parents might have been penny pinching
right
to get certain games like this. But I think a lot of it's something kind of blew up because during that Treehouse stream, like I was watching it for a while and I was like, I wonder what the comments are saying. The moment I opened the comments section, the entire time that the Treehouse stream was going, people were spamming, drop the prices, drop the prices, drop the prices. The entire time the Treehouse was streaming. They were showing off Mario Kart, they were showing off Donkey Kong, they were showing off all the stuff. Drop the price, drop the prices, drop. Ooh, I wonder how this to drop the prices, drop the price. Like it was insane.
Which that's internet hive mind for you, right? Like I'm not shocked about that.
It happened day 2 as well. The next day after that, same exact thing.
We're gonna be seeing that for basically until this shit drops and maybe like a year post.
Yeah.
I think once the game started coming out and people kind of have no choice but to either get with it or miss behind, I think once you get people into like buying it, you'll just start getting people like, you're either going to buy it or you're not. Right. And once we hit that point, you're going to start getting people like chilling the fuck out. Right now it's just going to be Wild West.
Yeah.
Is going to be chaos when it comes to like pricing. But I'm already seeing, like I said, Austin John, other creators are starting to come out and are also like, what could we fucking expect? Like, what truly could we expect? At least if I paid $80 for Mario Kart World, I know I'm getting the full game. Like, at least with Nintendo games, at least first party stuff, at least I know I'm getting a full game out of it. I'm not waiting for them to microtransaction and nickel and dime me afterwards. Like, I'm at the point now where I'm like, y'all are complaining that you're seeing the $80 price tag, but take any game on the PlayStation, Steam, or Xbox. Take any random game and tell me how much you have spent in a lifetime over that. I can almost guarantee you there's very few games that you bought for $60 and only paid $60. There are some, I'm sure, but I doubt it's as many as you think. You just didn't know you were paying more because they were getting it from you. Nickel, dime, every microtransaction here, DLC bought here over time. And then we can get people to go on and explain one of the biggest complaints lately is that very few games are coming out fully complete.
Yep.
They're coming out $60 for an unfinished game that you're then paying over time to get completed. You can't be upset that they're pulling the veil back.
Yeah.
You can't know that the fucking McNugget is pink goo and then be upset that you're seeing the pink goo.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly.
Yeah. Something very interesting I wanted to pull up because as I was reading through an article, this confirms that you will see $80 games, and this is where they were talking about, but it's going to be because they feel that those games are actually worth $80. This was they were talking to, where is his name? The product and player experience, Bill Trennan.
Yep.
Nintendo America Vice President of Product. Something that came up in this that I wasn't expecting, or at least it answers a question. So, quote, what I would probably counter to some of that is that really what you're looking at is for the Nintendo Switch 2 edition. That's the physical price for somebody that has not bought the base game. For somebody who has bought Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild, the upgrade packs for those are $9.99. They're $10 for the upgrade packs. And if you happen to be a Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack member, both of the Zelda upgrade packs are inclusive with that membership. So they are free. If you get it with that.
I remember that. That's only for the Zelda ones.
Yeah. That's why I mentioned it earlier. I was like, I remember hearing something about the Zelda ones might be free, but I didn't know. It sounds like this is where that was coming from.
Yeah, I forgot that. Yeah. I think they did mention that I think that was one of those like voiceover things that they did live in the live thing, but didn't talk about in the, like separated. So
I remember in the live, they don't. I remember I walked away from that live like, I wish they would have mentioned the price. They never mentioned it in the live. They may have during Treehouse.
Yeah, like I think they mentioned like, if you already have online, this would be free. I don't think they said if you didn't have online what that price would be.
Oh, okay.
But I think they said like if you have an online membership, this will be free. It might have upgrade.
I don't remember hearing that. It might have went over my head. But yeah. So $10 for a...
Is that both each? Or like for both of those two combined is $9?
The upgrade packs for those are $9.99. So I'm assuming for each.
Okay.
I'm going to guess for each. But it comes free if you have the expansion pack, which is what you need for like GameCube Classic and some of the other classic stuff, which like, honestly, I would probably just get the expansion pack if that's going to come for free. Because I'm going to assume some of the other games are going to have, like, I can't imagine Kirby Forgotten Land isn't going to get this treatment. It's possible that it won't, but I imagine it probably will. Even if we're just going off like because of how old these games are, even though Tears of the Kingdom is newer than Forgotten Kingdom. Forgotten Land.
Forgotten what?
For Kirby's Forgotten Land. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, Forgotten Land. Yeah.
But no, I was just kind of reading that while you were talking. I was like, oh, that answered some questions that I had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I forgot about that.
The $90 price tag I heard actually is false or just a rumor.
90.
So because everybody was like, it's going to be 80 for the digital, 90 for the physical.
90, I think, for the physical in UK.
Oh,
I think, which is why I said like the 80 is for the US,
okay.
And I know it's different in other regions. I think 90 was for a different country, which I think was UK. What I heard, but I could be wrong about that. Pricing is so weird right now because of tariffs. Not to get political.
Who was this fucking fake ass Lawrence Fishburne looking motherfucker? He looks like a mix of Lawrence Fishburne and your god brother.
Yeah, a little bit actually. That's funny.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Unimportant.
But I think like the thing that I did see too, though, is like all this pricing that was announced in the direct, at least, was like the cost of the system itself. Maybe not the games, but the system at least is before taking into any account of any of these tariffs that are happening.
Yes, $450 would have been the price.
That's the base price.
That's the base price.
So it could change depending.
It probably is. I was just pulling up something. Which analysts are not always correct. They've actually been pretty wrong as of late. But Switch 2 price won't increase in response to tariffs, analyst says. A research firm, like I said, take this with a huge grain of salt because a lot of this stuff is prediction, not gospel or not coming like insider knowledge from Nintendo. One research firm expects the price of Nintendo Switch 2 to hold steady in response to President Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs, arguing that Nintendo had already baked potential tariffs into the system's costs. That's despite Nintendo of America President Doug Bowser downplaying the impact of tariffs on Nintendo's price decision-making process. Research from DFC Intelligence said Monday that it was modeling a 20% price increase over the next 2 years for Switch 2, but in updated guidance sent to Polygon from the firm's CEO, David Cole, the reference to a 20% hardware price increase over the next 2 years apply to the hardware side in general and not just the Switch. In the case of the Switch 2, we believe much of the 20% increase was already baked into the $450 price, Cole said. It is not likely we'll raise the price, and if they do, we don't expect it to be 20%. Also, much of that increase is in the form of not discounting prices, so not necessarily a price increase, but where we model a 20% price decrease in the next year or so, we have the prices holding steady. So it just won't lower its prices for longer.
Or I guess the way that I kind of read that, which totally wrong, is like they're setting it this quote unquote higher-ish price so that next year they won't take an L if they do lower it a little bit because it's been a full year.
Yeah.
Since the announcement or something. And saying that it's probably baked in after Bowser said it wasn't is interesting.
It is very funny. But the president, Doug Bowser, is going to have to give the shareholder safe answers.
Right.
Which I'm not shocked about.
It's like, oh, no, we definitely didn't do the thing that we probably did, but, whatever is fine, Next year, it might be able to make it a little cheaper, We're just kind of, making sure that we're arming ourselves here, you know, giving us some padding.
Our asses.
Yeah,
Right.
giving us some padding just in case things do go sideways, you
Yeah,
know.
this might be a problem.
Because
What?
I don't know. I guess I feel like the hardware itself can't be that much more expensive. Like, maybe it is. Obviously, they're using more powerful chips, but
We still don't know the information on like CPU, GPU.
yeah,
I think we do have that information.
Do we now?
I think we do. I don't know. I don't care to look into that kind of shit.
As of recording, I haven't seen or heard anything, but
I don't even really know what a Snapdragon 9 is. So
Tigra.
is it Tigra now? Tigra.
Well, no, Snapdragon was in your phone.
Yeah.
I
it
think
better
Switch
have at least an i9.
right. Switch has been on a Tigra, the NVIDIA Tigra bullshit for a while.
So you better have a 5090 in it.
Right. It's my 4090. I don't know all that shit. I don't care. I have other shit to worry about in my life currently.
Yeah. I think the last kind of piece of this is talking about this game key card thing.
Yeah.
That I think they did announce very briefly in the direct. And I think there's been a lot of different takeaways from it and people trying to break it down and not necessarily getting all the information and facts correct, or taking it a certain way where it's just not specified, or they didn't, give more information around. But essentially they talk about there being...
Oh, wait, we were wrong. Air Riders got announced first, then Donkey Kong.
What?
I don't...
No.
I remember Donkey Kong happening first.
Well, one thing's for sure. We know they re-uploaded a different version of this or something.
Did they?
Because they had that whole freeze problem.
True.
Remember when it froze?
Yeah.
So I feel like they did cut out some parts and upload, or like replace the stream video or whatever with the actual like professionally edited, whatever you want to call it, version that wasn't messed up. But I feel like Kirby Air Riders was the very last thing announced.
You know what we're about to do? We're going to find someone
who is watching it.
Yeah, find somebody's VOD. Because I think they don't have the VOD up anymore. I would not be shocked if they recut this shit.
We'd like to introduce another new experience.
I didn't mean to do that.
Wait, go back. There was
Was there somebody?
Yeah. Go down. Yeah, up.
This one?
No.
This one, I mean?
Yeah.
But on Nintendo Switch 2, you can play together.
And you could skip towards like that.
Yeah.
That was... Oh, I guess it was.
First. How did we both forget that?
I don't know. I guess it was just so crazy that our brains rearranged it to thinking it was the last.
I really want to see this because this is I think this is one of the same ones that did the Smash Bros release. This looks like very similar to that.
Yeah, it's the same place. I watched this too.
I didn't watch this personally, so we're gonna do a live watch for you.
Everybody smash. I'm already hearing Air Ride.
What the hell is he holding?
Bigger cheers for the director than
Honestly, though,
that him being the director got the same, like had almost the same level of cheer that the Sora got when he got announced in Smash. I remember how hype those character reveals used to be.
that's the only reason anybody watched those directs, to be honest.
Right.
And Nintendo knew that.
Oh, Nintendo knew. Nintendo knew. But anyway, sorry, had to cut away there for a sec because I guess we Mandela affected. We thought the Kirby Air Ride happened as the last thing.
Yeah.
It was actually Donkey Kong that happened last. But the game card thing, key card.
The game key card thing, they announced this at some point. Basically, what a lot of people thought was that this game key card is just a version of a game, like physical card. Mm-hmm. And instead of having the full game, all of its code and everything on the card itself, there's an actual like code plus a little bit of, programming or whatever on the card that when you slide it in your system, it allows you to download the game from Nintendo's servers. Mm-hmm. And then when you download the game to your system, you're able to play it then. And it's essentially like you have a digital version of it or whatever, kind of.
Right.
And so a lot of people were like, oh, is this like the new physical games that are going to be for the Switch 2? Like, whenever you go out to buy a physical version of a game for the Switch 2, you're actually getting a key card instead. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people obviously are like, well, that sucks because you're not actually carrying around the game. You need to have an internet connection to download that. And you can't just like
basically
transfer it around to people.
It's the thing of like, you don't own a game, you only license it.
And if the company ever decides to shut down everything, you don't have that game anymore because you're reliant on that initial download.
There was also fears that meant that you couldn't resell games and you couldn't get a pre-owned copy. You couldn't sell your copy if you were done with it. You couldn't even make like there's a lot of people that are like, I'll just buy the game and recoup some money by selling it to a game store or selling it to somebody else.
And watch this video. I think this video kind of goes over a little bit of those like fears.
Mm-hmm.
Key cards on the Nintendo Switch 2 is physical media changing forever. Now these look like regular game cartridges, but instead of running
shout out to QGen HQ,
just let you download the game, and then you have to put the cartridge into the console to access that downloaded game. Now you will need internet access the very first time that you use that cartridge to download the game, but after that you can play offline. Now the big question here is, can you sell these games? Can you trade these games? Could you let your friend borrow a game? We don't really have answers from Nintendo for that as of right now, but in my personal opinion, I think we're going to be fine. I think how it works is just like a Windows PC key where, yeah, you can go ahead and download a title, but you can't play it without having that, Windows key. So what you would have to do is basically get that cartridge to access that said title. As long as that encrypted cartridge has that key on it, it should always hold a value. So I think we're going to be okay. I don't think Nintendo is changing the whole trade-in value or borrow factor here, but it does raise the question, is this technically still physical?
Yeah. So he has a good point at the end there. Is this still technically considered physical?
No, it's basically a physical
an NFC
piece with a link on it.
Yeah.
Like
it's basically an NFC. You have the ability to download a game as long as you have that key card. I was looking through some of these comments and it was like, it sounds like it was to combat physical space on the cards and to get around like needing to either beef up the cards or get new cards and that. And that was a good explanation. So people are countering that with like, well, if that's the case, then why are they fucking $80? Why are the games $80 then? If you're just going to get around it by having them digital instead. Mm-hmm. But that gets back into our conversation about game value and pricing and all that shit.
Right. And so a lot of people were like, oh crap, this is how all the physical games are going to be now. But we come to find out that this is not the case for all the games. This is just another way, like another version, kind of. It's like there are like two different versions, kind of. There's like the key card version of a game and then the non-key card version of a game.
Why would you buy the key card version?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I legit have no idea. So from Nintendo's official website, it says Nintendo Switch 2 supports both regular game cards and game key cards. Game key cards are different from regular game cards because they don't contain the full game data. Instead, the game key card is your key to downloading the full game to your system via the internet. After it's downloaded, you can play the game by inserting the game key card into your system and starting it up like a standard physical game card. Here's what game key card packaging looks like. It's just, the only difference is that it's going to have a thing that tells you it's a game key card. Internet connection is needed, yada, yada, yada. And it just kind of shows us off. It basically goes, once you download it, it's basically like having the physical game. I don't know what the point of that would be over the physical game, short of if this is truly their way of like, so some games are going to have a regular game card they can just fit on a regular game card, and some games that are too big to fit on a regular game card, instead of basically having to charge more for special game cards, is like, we'll just have you download it from the internet instead. Mm-hmm. That's the thing I can guess the most. Like that's the only thing I can really even think of in this moment right now. Because otherwise, yeah, what's the point if it's just going to be a digital download? I'll just get the fucking digital download.
But it sounds like they're going to have both versions for...
Maybe.
They don't give a lot of information, and that's kind of what I'm thinking. It sounds like they're going to have both versions, but they could also be saying they're going to support regular Switch games and then game key cards. I don't know if there's been an official, like there will be Switch 2 game cards like normal, and then Switch 2 game key cards. I don't know.
So you can't play the game without the key card?
I guess so, yeah.
So it's like having a digital copy, but you have to have the physical piece to play the game.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you just buy the digital copy?
Exactly.
It's weird. And there's still, again, a lot we don't know, and we still have questions. It's, again, another one of those things where we just got to see how it works.
And internet connection is only required when you launch the game for the first time. After this, the game can be started even without an internet connection. However, like regular physical software, the game key card must be inserted into the system in order to play the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it raises the question of then what's the fucking point?
Unless
short of like, because some people just really want physical media, but
it could be because like I can't give you my digital downloaded games, but I could give you a key card and you could play it in your Switch, I think.
Well, you would
it's locked to your account, the key card.
I don't know.
I don't think, well, I think well, you had an article pulled up that said something about like still being able to share, and
you can borrow and resell Nintendo Switch 2 game cards. Nintendo confirms the Switch game cards, game key cards downloads aren't locked to a specific Nintendo account. Okay, yeah. Following the reveal of Nintendo's new game key cards during its Nintendo Switch 2 event last week, we're finally getting more details about why they exist and how they can be used. Although they don't contain a physical copy of a game, Nintendo's Tetsuya Sasaki explained to GameSpot that game key cards aren't permanently tied to a specific Nintendo account. The games can be inserted and played on any Switch 2 console, allowing them to be borrowed, rented, and even resold. So key cards will start up as the console or the system that is slotted into will start up on the yada, 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 yada. The behavior is different from the Nintendo Switch games that Nintendo currently sells in retail locations, which features a download code instead of a physical cartridge. Those codes can only be used a single time and are connected to a specific Nintendo account, preventing them from being resold at a later date. Game key cards are automatically trigger a game download when inserted into yada yada. Once the game is re-downloaded, the game is downloaded and installed in an internet connection. It is only recording.
So it sounds like they're just replacing their one-time use code, and it doesn't exactly make sense, but it is better.
That's what it feels like they're saying. The game key cards are an unusual format that merges digital game downloads and physical cartridges without quite solving the downsides of either format. Internet access is still required to download the games, and you still need the cartridges to play them. But as Nintendo of America President Doug Bowser explained to The Verge, the game key cards primarily benefit publishers, allowing them to sell physical copies of games at retail locations that may exceed the 64 gigabyte capacity of regular Switch 2 game cartridges.
You're right.
Okay.
You're right.
Okay. Did you say I'm right? That's just what I happen to hear. So I'm parroting what other people have said.
Okay.
So they're right. and I'm right by extension. So it seems like it's just so that people can sell physical stuff. So it sounds like this is going to be specifically for games that are too big to fit on a Switch cart itself.
Which is crazy.
That is
and why
crazy.
I say that Switch better be 240 some gigs, especially if a lot of these games are going to be bigger than the 64 gigabyte capacity of a regular Switch 2 cartridge.
Does it have an SD card?
It does. You can still get an expansion.
Well, it has to be a special SD card.
It does have to be a special one.
Express SD something. I don't know. Something that's more advanced than a regular SD.
Basically, Nintendo's way of making sure that they make money on it.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be ways to turn one into an Express if need be.
Or there will be third party.
There will be third party.
There are already third party Express SD cards that are going out of stock as we speak.
There's 1 terabyte ones that are like $200, I guess, which is not bad for an SD card.
Yeah.
It sounds like a lot, but as SD cards go, that's not bad for a terabyte micro SD.
Yeah. Crazy that you can get a terabyte out of micro SD.
Right.
Nowadays, 20 years ago, people be like, what the fuck?
I will say, I do agree with what some people were saying. Even if that's how they use it now, it does feel a little icky.
Yeah.
Because they could absolutely just change how that works in the future. Because what you're doing is borrowing from a digital library.
Mm-hmm.
And if at any time, like, those servers go down or they just decide to change it.
Or that they don't support it anymore.
Or just stop supporting it.
For the Switch.
Yeah.
In 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just gone to the ether. You have nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
I personally probably won't make a lot of use of it unless, like, I don't know. Like, I would very much like to hear them clarify a lot more. That you need to do a lot of clarifying and a lot of, like, even if you got to fucking lie to me, like, really assuring me of the future of this bitch, because you're going to have to explain to me what happens if the servers go down.
Yeah.
What happens if this shit happens? Like, you say I can download a game and I only need an interconnection to download the game. But if...
I mean, it's really no different from a
digital
download.
So do they stay downloaded? It sounds like they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
As long as you have the game card with you. Like, so if I have like 5 of these game cards and enough space to store all of them, am I going to have them all on the Switch if I'm on a road trip or the airplane or some shit, right?
Yeah, I would assume so.
I would assume so, but I think this is something they need to... There shouldn't be assuming going on right now.
It's basically the digital download, but you can sell it.
Yeah. So I would say it would behoove Nintendo to just do a whole thing and completely clarify this, because the last thing you need is people doing assumptions and speculation.
Yeah,
like, this is not the thing you want assumption and speculation on.
Yeah, I would like the very last sentence needs to be their running slogan, whatever, for this. It's like, this is only for games that are going to exceed 64 gigabyte capacity. If I see key card games being sold along with regular physical games that are just like under 64 gigs, that are maybe
gonna
like
have to
30,
explain to
40
me,
gigs or something.
You're gonna have to explain to me
why
Donkey Kong, I forgot what the name of that game is.
Bonanza.
Yeah. Why Donkey Kong Bonanza has a Switch 2 regular game card and a Switch 2 digital game key card.
Right.
If I look on a shelf and see both of those, you need to explain why this exists.
Mm-hmm.
Because now, if your whole deal is that it solves a problem for publishers, you need to be leading with that. And it means that I should never see a game that can be on a Switch card be on a game key card. I should never fucking see that.
Yeah.
That should be a last resort if you just absolutely cannot get a physical version of the game on it. If you can't get a game on a physical Switch card.
Mm-hmm. It honestly, having this be a thing at all already is kind of showing some cracks where it's like, why don't you have game cartridges that can hold more than 64 gigabytes?
Like,
maybe that's a lot to ask.
Right. I can see not wanting to increase the price there, because it would be a price increase on top of the current price increases we already got. Like I can see them going that this was the concession of like, we have to raise the price to $80. We don't want to have to raise physical prices even more 90, to support that, 100. Right? To $90, $100 to get key cards that can fit that. Now, granted, I guess they are special made for the Switch, but like, I don't know if that technology is really that crazy. And also, if you really care that much, you're probably just going to put the money into a, because no, I like having physical games too. Like sometimes some of it is just preference and it's like, all types of bullshit. But
if you want to play this in 30 years of the post-apocalypse, you have to have the physical version.
Right.
Yeah, that key card ain't gonna cut it.
Yeah. So they're gonna need to do. I said they ain't got to do shit. Like I can't. Me and our 40 fucking subscribers can't force them to do jack shit. But I would very much like to see them do a much more concerted like explanation and sit down like, this is what this is. This is not a regular thing. This is to solve a problem for publishers only, and only to be used in those moments in which that problem needs to be solved. And if that problem isn't a problem for the publisher, then it's not going to be a thing you see. You're not going to see this for Mario Kart World. You won't see this for Donkey Kong Bonanza. You won't see this for Kirby Air Riders because those games won't need it. You might see it for Dusk Bloods. You might see it for Cyberpunk 2077. You might see it for some of the third-party stuff because those are just two. If we wanted to give you a proper experience, you just need too much more than our game cards can currently hold. And so we're just making it possible and letting you still get a physical and letting them get their store SKUs and letting people who want the tactile physical version still get their physical version. But this is not meant to be a let's test run as a new way of doing games going forward, because you need to assure everybody of that. You have to. Or this is going to be real bad going forward.
Yeah, there will be a revolt.
Yeah.
If this is where games are going.
Yeah. Like no one likes, because people already are very wary of like I said, we're not buying things, we're just licensing them. And people are incredibly wary of that. And the last thing we need is something that makes it feel even more like we're taking steps towards that. So.
We want to own our shit.
I want to own if I'm going to get it physical, I want to own my shit. Even if it's digital, I want to own my shit. But especially if I'm getting a physical copy of it. Like, don't do this weird bullshit of like tricking me into getting something but holding it to the digital download vices, right? Like, that's weird. But damn near 4 hours later, that was the Switch 2. The direct and some of the post news and Treehouse stuff and stuff that's come out of it since then.
Lot of information.
Whole lot of information.
And there's a whole lot left to go. Like we said earlier, there's a whole Mario Kart World Direct that's happening next week. And I'm sure from now of this recording till then, there's going to be a crap ton of Switch announcements. One thing that they announced that they announced this, I think, even before the Switch 2 thing, but they have an app that we talked about, I think, in the last episode.
Today?
Yeah,
we talked about it last week.
They've been putting out some interesting stuff about these games that have been announced.
I was just about to say, I haven't checked it in a while, but I'm looking at it, and then more than likely they'll be putting out a lot more information about the Switch through this app.
Yeah, they've been dropping some like more spec information on the Switch console and some of the Joy-Con stuff.
I was going to say they have a 3D viewer of the Joy-Con.
Yep.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yep, that's been pretty cool to play with and look around at. So if you haven't, it's free. It's a free app. Go and download it just to see if you're more interested in any of this stuff and want to see more information about any of these games, the console, whatever. Download it, check it out. And yeah, you get a lot of information just by looking there.
Yeah.
Instead of scouring the YouTubes and all the different channels for stuff, you get a good amount of information from the app. So yeah.
So yeah, we'll see going forward. But that's gonna be it for us tonight. I have to pee. I have to pee very bad.
Fair enough.
Thank y'all for hanging out with us tonight.
Yes.
Fluffy should be back with us next week.
Should be.
I'm fairly certain he'll be back, but
we'll double
I'm not
check
super
with
certain. he's still living it up in the Dominican Republic, so I'm sure he'll come back with some fun stories to tell. But once again, thank you all tonight. Like, comment, and subscribe.
5 stars.
Follow us everywhere, but also subscribe to our Patreon. It's still currently only $1. I am currently in the process of rendering out a lot of stuff to start putting up on that Patreon. I know I've been neglecting that, unfortunately, but it is currently, I'm ramping up production on that. So I'm going to start putting a lot of content. There's a lot of things that we record that y'all don't get to see.
We just had a section today that
literally
we talked through, and it's not going to get put in this video.
Yeah,
so
that doesn't go up on YouTube. That's going to be Patreon exclusive. So get to see a lot of the behind the scenes, between the scenes stuff as well. There's a lot of other fun stuff I have planned for the Patreon that I can't reveal just yet. A lot of logistical stuff to figure out there, but yeah, it's only $1. It's not going to be $1 forever. So get in while you can. But beyond that, have a good night.
Peace.
Stay gay. Bye.
And specifically the character with them big lips.
Your first crush?
How did you know?